Good morning, students. I welcome you to this session of final paper 6 integrated business solutions. I am CA Priya Subramanian, and with me is CA Rajiv Sachdevaji, who is handling the subject of integrated business solutions. He is also the auditing faculty in the Board of Studies for many years. So, as regards this paper has been introduced as a compulsory paper in the new scheme of education and training, where in this particular paper, you will be required to integrate the knowledge which you have acquired in papers 1 to 5 at the final level, as well as Set A and Set B. All these you will be studying as independent subjects also. And in this paper, what we expect you to do is to integrate the knowledge, whatever you've acquired in that, and solve it. What you will get in the exam is in the form of case studies. In that case studies, it will involve application of more than one subject. And how you will go about solving those case studies is what we will be dealing in this particular paper. As regards the pattern of exam in this particular paper, I hope there are many people watching this. Good morning, Prerna, Shankara, Pradeep, Kochar. So our class is started. I hope you're all able to view it. Mansha, Viraj Desai, good morning to all of you. Mr. Lakshman Kumar, Ashish Rajwani, everyone. So actually here, the paper pattern will be similar to the paper pattern of elective papers, and which also included a multidisciplinary case study in the old scheme of education and training. It is similar to that. You will have 5 case studies, out of which you'll be required to attempt any 4. And each case study will be for 25 marks, out of which 10 marks will be your MCQs, 5 MCQs of 2 marks each, and the remaining 15 marks is descriptive questions. So in this case, the 40% weightage for MCQs and 60% weightage for descriptive questions. And it will be a paper of 4-hour duration. An announcement in this regard was web hosted yesterday. It is available in the BOS announcements. You can view that also. So as I told you, it is 40 marks of this paper is MCQ based, so which will enable you to score well in this paper. Also, the paper is open book, which means you can take any written material. Of course, you cannot take tablets or any electronic devices that you won't be permitted to take, but any sort of written materials, study materials, and all that, you can take it to the examination. What we expect you to do is whatever understanding you have, since it's an open book examination, there is no need to rote learn. At the same time, we understand that you have to identify what is the material which you will have to take to the examination hall. See, suppose you are strong in indirect taxes and all, then you can take the study material relating to advanced financial management or the advanced auditing material to this thing. And for DT, IDT, you can take the Saransh. Saransh will now is a revisionary material which will come out in different subjects. So that is also available at the BOS knowledge portal. It will be available on the CDS also. So for some subjects, you can take the Saransh, and some subjects you can take the study material along with you, depending upon which subject you're more comfortable with. Because this is a multidisciplinary case study paper which will cover all subjects. So for every student will have their weak areas, their strong areas and all. Concentrate more on your strengths and try to attempt those case studies which involve the subjects which you are strong at. And for this purpose, to guide you, what we are basically going to do in these sessions is we are going to take up the case studies. And we are going to tell you how you go about solving those case studies. It may involve accounting, it may involve taxation, it may involve law, it may involve advanced financial management. Different case studies may have different combinations. So how do you go about doing these case studies? For that, how do you need to prepare? You first need to prepare. When you prepare for the individual subjects, you automatically prepare for the case study also. And how do you go about preparing? One is, we have the study materials. The study materials are also web hosted. Apart from that, we have a Saransh also where things are presented in a very attractive manner so that you can learn easily. It help you learn. When things are presented in a concise, better manner, it makes learning easier for you. So that way, Saransh will help you. Apart from that, your concepts where you have some problem in understanding, you can always view the live learning classes of the respective subjects also. Plus, we have the recorded lectures also of these subjects, which are available for you. It is available in your mobile app also. It's available in the portal also. So all these things are available to you. Plus, even the MCQ practice portal dashboard, which we had launched, subject-wise paper practice paper dashboard, in which, of course, those are in the form of MCQs. Those will help you assess your level of understanding, whether you really understood things correctly in that respective subject or not. To that extent, the MCQ practice, you will be able to assess your level of understanding. And any moment you feel you have some query, some concept which you're not clear about in any subject for that matter, you can always post it in your Ask Your Query feature in the mobile app. Or the email IDs, the subject email IDs are there for each subject. So all the subject faculty in the BOS will guide you in their respective subjects. Rajiv ji will guide you overall how to go about attempting a multidisciplinary case study. Rajiv ji is there. Deepak Gupta is also, Mr. Deepak Gupta is also there. He will be coming for the future session. So they will guide you on how do you go about attempting a multidisciplinary case study paper. Individual subject faculty will guide you in their respective subjects. So you can post your query in the Ask Your Query portal. You can send a mail at the respective mail IDs. Telephone numbers, landline numbers are also web hosted at the BOS Knowledge Portal. If you have query in any particular subject, you can call the respective faculty and they are always here to guide you. So Shruti Juneja is asking which study material can we take all rest 5 papers. There again, I told you, each student has to analyze their own strengths and weaknesses. Accordingly, you have to decide which study material. Suppose you're very confident in tax. In second group, anyway, you have to study DT, IDT. You're very confident about those papers. Then you can take the study material of advanced financial management, advanced auditing. That you can take the study material. You can take the Saransh of Ind AS. You can take the Saransh of this one. It is up to you to decide what is your area of strength, what is your area of weakness, and according to that, you can take the study material. It is left to the individual students. Shankara's asked, ma'am, then separate 30 marks with MCQ booklet will not be there in paper 6. No. It is not there. For paper 6, what happens is, there is a case study. You will have a case study for 25 marks. There will be 5 such case studies. Each case study is for 25 marks, where you will be given the facts of the case study. And based on that facts, you will have 5 MCQs of 2 marks each, making it 10 marks for that case study. And 15 marks, you will have descriptive questions. It may be 2 questions, 3 questions, 4 questions, depending upon the requirement of the question. So based on that case study, you will have MCQs also. You will have descriptive questions also. It may involve more, it will definitely involve more than 1 subject, 2 subjects or 3 subjects it will involve. I would suggest that you go to the BOS Knowledge Portal. In that, when you click Integrated Business Solutions, case studies have been web hosted in that particular. 15 case studies have been web hosted so far. So if you go and view those case studies, you will have an idea about how case studies will be asked in the exam. Here again, I'll try to, let me tell you one thing, maybe you will have a few less MCQs or few more MCQs in each case studies, what we web hosted. That is only for the purpose of your understanding. In the exam, in all case studies, you will have 5 MCQs of 2 marks each, and 15 marks you will have descriptive questions. 5 case studies you will have, and out of the 5, you can choose any 4. Yes, Simarjit, Saransh is available in the BOS Knowledge Portal. Okay. Saransh is available. You can just go through that. It is coming under capsules. It is available under capsules. Prerna Kochar, you are telling that it is vast to study. Actually, the objective is that now you have individual papers where you have individual knowledge. But actually, this aim of this paper is to test that, yeah, you studied so much, but how are you going to apply it in solving a particular case studies where it involves more than 1 subject? That is the purpose of this paper. And since it's an open book, and since the percentage of MCQs is higher, this will definitely help you to score very well. This paper will definitely help you to score very well. Yes, Kriti, the paper pattern is more is in line with the elective paper pattern in the old scheme. 10 marks in each case study, for your MCQs, and after that 15 marks for your descriptive questions. Simranjit Singh, you're telling you're not able to see the Saransh. It's under the subject-wise capsules. If you go to the subject-specific capsules now, there you go inside. In that, there is a link to the Saransh. You'll be able to see it. Simranjit Singh, again, there is no compulsory case study. 5 case studies are there. You can attempt any 4. Here again, let me tell you, when you attempt the 4 case studies, you go through the questions given after the case study. Sometimes what happens generally, the case study, when you read, you might not be able to make out whether it is difficult, whether it's easy and all those things. But when you read the questions now, you will understand which areas you're most comfortable with. Suppose, say there's a question on computation of total income, which but when from the facts given in the case study, you might not be able to make out the difficulty level. When you do see the question, you might make out, yeah, it is a residential status question in the MCQ. Based on that, you have to compute the total income in the descriptive question. So you'll be able to make out the requirements easily when you go through the questions given below the case study. That will help you to identify which case studies to choose. Pradeep Lohan, the case study would involve multiple subjects. It will involve more than one subject. That is why it is an integrated business solutions. Yes, Vicky Kumar, you can bring multiple subject study materials. You can bring it in the to the exam. That is not a problem. So I hope, I'm very clear relating to this. It's an open book pattern of paper, open book pattern. And it's a case study based. You will have 5 case studies of 25 marks each. You can choose any 4 of that. Each case studies will have 5 MCQs of 2 marks, making it 10, and 15 marks descriptive questions. It will span more than one subject. Definitely, but that's why it is a multidisciplinary case study. So you can choose any 4 of that. And study materials, which study materials you want to bring to the exam hall, for which ones you have to want to take a condensed version of Saransh, it is up to your individual strengths. You have to, taking into consideration your individual strengths, you have to make that particular decision. Lakshman Kumar, you are asking about costing and law. Yes, Set A and Set B also will be included in this particular thing. Study materials for Set A and Set B are available in the BOS knowledge portal. And as far, even in the MCQ paper practice dashboard, MCQs and case scenarios are uploaded in respect of these 2 papers, which you can practice so that you are geared up to attempt this paper. That MCQs which I'm talking about is for the purpose of your practice. What is going to come in the exam is MCQs based on the case studies, 5 case studies. Past paper of multidisciplinary, Ashish Rajwani are asking whether past papers of multidisciplinary case study are relevant. Here you have to exercise some caution. One is between old scheme to new scheme, syllabus has undergone a change. Second one, as you know, in some subjects, even if in portions where the syllabus has not undergone a change, the law might have undergone a change. Like in taxation papers, it undergoes a change every year. All of you are aware of it. Even if you have to study for your individual direct tax and indirect tax papers, between November to next May, the applicability of the Finance Act changes. So according to that, there will be changes. So when you're seeing the past year suggested answers, keep in mind that the position of law might have undergone a change on account of changes in the Finance Act, changes by way of notification circulars and all that. So that you have to take into consideration if you are viewing past year's papers. And also one more thing which you have to keep in mind is the change in syllabus between old scheme to new scheme. So that is why we are ourselves web hosting case studies based on the new syllabus in the BOS knowledge portal under paper 6, final paper 6, integrated business solutions. Shankara, yeah, you can take study material of Set A and Set B also to the exam hall. Simranjit Singh, yeah, the case studies will be the same for all students. It will be the same for all students. what you give come in the what come in the exam is the same. See, for students who are writing it group by group, Shruti Juneja, yeah, students who are writing both groups will find it more easier than students who are writing group by group, but still it is not difficult. That's what I'm telling you. To hold, first of all, it's an open book exam. Secondly, you can make reading your learning simpler by because you have anyway learned all these subjects. It's not that you have not learned, you've learned these subjects. These subjects are the things you've applied somewhere in your practical training also. Through that also you've acquired knowledge. So, and what you would definitely have to brush up. So you can brush up with the help of Saransh, of course, the study materials, the live recorded lectures, live learning classes which are being provided by the BOS, as well as the recorded lectures which are available. These will help you to do it. And remember that you need not rote learn it. You just have to understand these concepts, which anyway you're expected to have a knowledge of when you qualify as a chartered accountant. Pradeep Lohar as Hindi English lecture. By and large, it will be in English because, this is for pan India. But anywhere you want somebody, the faculty to explain to you in Hindi also, they can explain to that particular point in Hindi if you particularly make a request for that. Otherwise, it will be basically in English. Okay. Now I will hand it over to Mr. Rajiv Sachdevaji to start taking up the case study. He will explain the case study to you. And the questions which are involved, you can raise the queries. After that, to give insights on the specific subjects, we have a subject faculty here also, Shilpa Agarwal and Megha Goel. They will be joining you to give insights on the subjects of financial reporting and law, respectively. And over to Mr. Sachdevaji.
Thank you, Priya Madam. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and sharing important things, most important things with the students. Thank you, Priya Madam.
Okay.
Yes, students, Priya Madam has conveyed very important things to you, और Priya Madam ने ये भी बताया आपको कि conceptual understanding is most important thing to handle the case studies which appear in the examination. So conceptual, there is no need of rote learning. Madam has rightly said, there is no need of rote learning. Students, you need to be very much clear about the concepts. Paper 1, FR, full of concepts. Paper 2, advanced financial management, total conceptual knowledge. Paper 3, total concepts, advanced auditing. And then paper 4 is DT. Law, even law, you need to understand the provisions of the law. Understand it. First, you should be clear conceptually. Concepts. You should have complete grip over the concepts, over the provisions of law. Concepts or provisions of law if law paper is concerned, and about GST law also. So students, once you are clear with the concepts, you understand the law provisions, then you need to learn the application part by solving the numericals, by understanding the examples, understanding illustrations given in the study material, understanding the test you are understanding given in the study material. So from various sources, from the LVC which you have attended, from the various sources, you should apply the concepts which you have learned. You should learn to apply those concepts by solving the numericals, by reading the illustrations, by attending LVC classes. So you should also learn the application part, because paper 6 is totally going to test your concepts which you have learned in the various papers. which are part of this study material, which are part of this syllabus of this paper 6. तो पेपर 6 का सिलेबस क्या है? पेपर 6 का सिलेबस क्या है? दैट इज अगेन ए वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन. पेपर 6 का सिलेबस स्टूडेंट्स, कोर पेपर्स एट द फाइनल लेवल प्लस सेट ए एंड सेट बी, प्लस सेट ए पेपर एंड सेट बी पेपर. तो कोर पेपर्स आपके स्टूडेंट्स कौन से हैं? एफआर, एडवांस्ड फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट है, ऑडिटिंग है, देन वी हैव डायरेक्ट टैक्स है, देन वी हैव जीएसटी एंड कस्टम, एंड देन वी हैव कॉस्टिंग, एंड फाइनली कंपनी लॉ. कॉस्टिंग strategic part, IBS, integrated business solutions with strategic management. Strategic part will only be asked in terms of strategic cost and SCMP paper, and not that way ki strategic management will be asked. So strategic management part will be asked only in respect of costing paper. So let's be clear with that. Shilpa madam, you will you want to say something about this strategic management part?
See, strategic management, definitely you are studying in your set B. So that paper will include whatever strategic management which you have studied at intermediate, that is covered in your study material of set B also. So definitely you are not required to go with the study material, go through the study material of intermediate. Studying your set B study material will suffice. And in your case studies also, you'll get an idea, because the case studies which are being uploaded recently in the coming edition of the Students Journal, you'll be having IBS case studies. The edition is dedicated to IBS case studies only at final level. So you'll also get a glimpse of how strategic management is incorporated in the study material, in your case studies, and accordingly you can practice for that.
Are there more queries? Shilpa
Yeah,
madam?
there are many queries, sir. Some students have asked for that, can they take only institute study material, or they can take any other material beyond our institute's publication? Yes, you are allowed to take any publication which it is not compulsory to be your institute material. You can take beyond that also. However, electronic gadgets like tabs, your phones, they are not allowed to for reference. It should be a printed book which you need to carry for examination as an open book
तो
examination.
स्टूडेंट्स, प्रिंटेड मटेरियल आप चाहे स्टडी मटेरियल ले जाएं, अपने नोट्स ले जाएं, कुछ भी ले जाएं, लेकिन इलेक्ट्रॉनिक गैजेट्स एग्जाम में अलाउड नहीं होंगे. तो दिस इज द आइडिया बिहाइंड. आप प्रिंटेड कुछ भी लेके जा, स्टडी मटेरियल, आप कोई बुक लेके जा सकते हैं, नोट्स लेके जा सकते हैं.
One question, this is
Yes.
Bhagishri Gutte. She has asked, what will be the percentage of questions for each subject in IBS paper? See, there is no defined percentage of each subject in a IBS case study. It is that every case study will be having more than 2 subjects involved, but there is no fixed percentage that there will be 20% of each subject coverage. It is not like that. So you have to study there'll be 5 case studies, out of which you have to do 4 in the examination, and in that manner you'll be getting coverage of all the subjects, but not in each case study.
तो ईच केस स्टडी में स्टूडेंट्स मिनिमम जो है, मिनिमम 2 सब्जेक्ट्स कवरेज होना चाहिए. तो ये रिक्वायरमेंट मिनिमम 2 सब्जेक्ट्स की है, और उसमें 3-4 सब्जेक्ट्स भी हो सकते हैं केस स्टडी में. ऐसा मतलब मींस मिनिमम 2 सब्जेक्ट्स गेट कवर्ड in one case study.
Okay, one student, Anushka Chauhan, is asking, will this lecture be available as recording later? I guess yes, it will be available.
Yes, it
because
will be.
We'll be discussing case studies later on, so this will be available on your institutes where you are going for student login in your BOS mobile app also. Recorded lecture of this session will be available. Okay, for self-paced students, for self-paced examination, Mansha and Shruti Juneja is asking when the lectures of self-paced papers will be uploaded, and what will be the examination pattern. Just wait for, have patience, students. Examination department will soon come with a notification regarding the conducting exam for this self-paced material, and accordingly we are also in the process of developing the lectures, and soon you'll get that. Okay, one Nimita is asking those who are appearing directly in group 2 without group 1. See, student, Priya ma'am has already explained you, those who are already appearing, those who are preparing only for group 2, they have to study the content, or they have to study your paper 1 subjects also for this paper 6. But for that, you can, instead of having that pain in your mind, just go through Saransh, which is there, that will give you the brief idea, and also it will help you in just somewhere covering those subjects which are there in group 1 also. So don't be panic, it is not that difficult which you are perceiving it. When you'll appear for the examination, for soothing students, let me tell you, we have increased the weightage of MCQs in this paper. It is now 40%. For rest papers, you'll be having 30% MCQs. But for this paper, you'll be having 40% MCQs. So it is not going to be difficult at all. It will be easy for you. You are studying subjects for your paper, this paper. And for first paper, for first group also, you'll be having various books which will help you in understanding things. Saransh is comprehensively designed for you all, and it carries all the provisions of India. So those who are not studying even group 1, they can also study in short time. They can go through Saransh and can have a grasp insight of the subject, which will help you in answering the questions, answering the case studies for this paper. Okay, students, for self-paced, there'll be a separate session. There we can address the queries. Let us limit to the session because many students are waiting for the case studies to start. So it will be better if we ask the questions related to this paper and this session. Also, sorry, so one more question is that Manjunath MT is asking whether the exam duration will be 3 or 4 hours. So for this paper, the examination duration will be 4 hours. So you'll be given 15 minutes reading time. That is in addition to 4 hours, what is given to you for solving the case studies, 4 case studies out of 5. 15 minutes reading time will also be provided for this particular paper. For rest of the papers in your final level, paper 1 to 5, you'll be having 3 hours duration examination. But for this paper exclusively, you'll be having 4 hours examination. Okay, one question, sir, this you will be able to answer. Pradeep Lohar is asking, how classes going on means only case study solving classes or learning and reading selected concepts with case study?
Yes, we will learn selected concepts also. Naturally, obviously, the concepts which are involved in the case study, which are asked in the case study. So those concepts will be discussed with the students, and also the case study incomplete will be discussed. The concepts which are there in the case study will definitely be discussed. Yes.
Okay. One is asking detail about costing syllabus in paper 6. So whatever the syllabus is there for your core paper, that is, there's no separate syllabus for this paper. The syllabus of this paper is the core subjects which you are studying paper 1 to 5 along with set A and B. That is the syllabus which is there for this paper. So there's no separate subject syllabus of costing defined for this particular paper. Whatever you are going to study in your set B, that will be applicable for this paper as well. Okay, for May 24, self-paced can be given after passing 6 papers, but paper 6, yes, this year you have to go for this paper, but self-paced examination wise, you have been given relaxation that you can appear for the examination after appearing for this examination or after appearing for the final examination, but before declaration of result, but study you have to incorporate in your, for this paper, you have to do that. One Miss Kriti Salgaonkar has asked, there may be multiple concepts of different subjects in one case study.
Yes, definitely. Multiple concepts would be there. We would be discussing right away. In this particular session, we will be discussing one case study incomplete. So students, उस case study में different subjects के concepts involved हैं. तो वो हम case study अभी discuss करेंगे.
Shruti, there will be a mix of all the subjects. It is not that mix of all subjects in one case study. One case study will have 2 or 3 subjects involved, but since you'll be having 5 case studies, so your 5 subjects plus your self-paced module content, the concepts will be tested through 5 case studies, not in one case study. So it may happen that And it is not compulsory that in every case study have a content of self-paced A or B. There may be some case studies which have content of core papers and portion of core papers, and there may be some case studies where involvement is of self-paced also. So it is not that all case studies are going to have contents of or portion of self-paced. We again, Prashad ji is asking, being open book examination, which book to be carried to examination? This time you can answer, sir. Any material where you are well versed with that will help you in your examination, because if you are not well versed with the material which you are carrying with you in your examination, then even if you get 4 hours, referring them will unnecessarily consume unnecessary. That will waste your time. So whatever material you have studied, preparation should be beforehand. Just carry the material for reference if required in your examination. And material is not restricted to any BOS publication or institute publication. Any material which you prepare or your notes which you have prepared, you can carry that in your examination, depending on your carrying capacity and the limited space provided to you in the examination. There's no fixed percentage or proportion of one subject. You can have an insight of how much proportion is involved in each case study through the case studies which we have already web hosted on BOS knowledge portal.
15 case studies have already been web hosted.
And every case study have a portion, there is no fixed portion, but you can get an insight what is the coverage of each subject in each case study. And so we can now start with the case studies. Okay, students, let us start with the case studies. In case you have any more general queries, we can take it in between or
Yes,
at the end.
Definitely in between we will take. Yes, the case study which we are discussing is.
So by the time you start this one question, one
Yes,
student Mansa has asked,
definitely.
content of CA Inter can also be incorporated in case studies. I mean to say accounting standards, audit standard. No. Your syllabus is restricted to core papers of final plus set A and B. So whatever is given in your core papers at final level, that will only be asked in the case study. In case something beyond is asked, then it will be provided through exhibit, but there is rare chances of that. Whatever is there, the syllabus of your core final papers, that is your syllabus is restricted to that only. So for paper 6 also, the syllabus is restricted to your core papers at final level, along with set A.
Yes, coming to the case study, students. This case study is about a company which is doing the manufacturing of solar panels. And in this case study, in this particular case study, you will come across the company, because company is, you see, doing a lot of things in renewable energy and the projects which the government wants them to do. So government has given, for the purpose, government has given grant to the company, and there are issues which are there while doing the manufacturing, while doing the business. Issues are there with respect to GST, with respect to company law. Some issues are there. So because this is a limited company, students, so first of all, I will read out the case study. We will go slow, students, because slow understanding is the best understanding. Let me explain to you. अंडरस्टैंड अगर आप चीजों को स्लोली करेंगे तो आपकी आउटपुट फास्ट आएगी. सो दिस इज द बेसिक आइडिया, स्टूडेंट्स. आप कंसेप्ट पे अपनी ग्रिप पूरी रखें, बिकॉज कंसेप्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग इस पेपर के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करने वाली है. सो आई एम गोइंग टू रीड आउट द केस स्टडी फर्स्ट. हम स्लोली रीड करेंगे. आप ध्यान से जस्ट कीप योर फोकस ऑन द केस स्टडी, सो दैट आप फैक्ट्स जो केस स्टडी के हैं वो अच्छे से समझ सकें. एंड देन वी विल डिस्कस द questions involved in the case study, and then we will take the particular subjects involved in the case study. So this is Luminous Limited, is a company engaged in the manufacture of solar panels. The vision of the company is to provide the most compelling value in solar energy industry. By value, the company means designing and installing highest quality solar panels on a timely basis. with proper safety standards. So company is very cautious about its safety standards, about the costs. Company is very, because company has to compete with its competitors. So company is very cautious about safety standards, lower costs, etc. The company also aims at students. Company aims at providing the country with clean, abundant, low cost, distributed and renewable energy. It is one of the largest vertically integrated solar company that offers services across the spectrum of photovoltaics manufacturing. This is a kind of engineering manufacturing, kind of technology, I can say, photovoltaics. This is basically these types of manufacturing is basically in USA, going on in USA. The company offers and produces high efficiency solar panels with higher performance and enhanced reliability. I mean to say कि ये photovoltaics manufacturing वाली कंपनी काफी सारी, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि ये कंपनी यूएसए में, काफी सारी कंपनी यूएसए में भी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कर रही है. दिस इज व्हाट आई मीन टू से. तो कंपनी ऑफर्स एंड प्रोड्यूसेस high efficiency solar panels with higher performance and enhanced reliability. तो कंपनी environmentally स्टूडेंट्स कॉशियस है. कंपनी गवर्नमेंट को सपोर्ट करने के लिए, गवर्नमेंट के प्रोजेक्ट सपोर्ट करने के लिए कॉन्शियस है. तो कंपनी बेसिकली एनवायरनमेंट को प्रोटेक्ट करने के लिए कॉन्शियस है. और कंपनी नेचुरली ऑब्वियसली एम्प्लॉय फ्रेंडली भी होगी. तो ये सारी चीजें कंपनी का एक विजन है. कंपनी हैज द फॉलोइंग विजन. क्या है स्टूडेंट्स? टू बी ए वर्ल्ड क्लास लीडर इन बिजनेस that contribute to nations in building infrastructure through sustainable value creation. तो कंपनी का देखो आप विजन कितना जबरदस्त है. तो ये केस स्टडी की बिगिनिंग इंट्रोडक्शन है स्टूडेंट्स. Luminous Limited has always been a standard for all the manufacturing companies for product quality. The company has multiple quality checks during its solar module production. This helps to ensure flawless production of solar panels and hence attain utmost customer satisfaction. तो कंपनी कॉशियस है स्टूडेंट्स. आप देख रहे हैं इस कस्टमर सेटिस्फेक्शन हो और कॉस्ट हो, एनवायरनमेंट की सेविंग, तो कंपनी इज कॉशियस. और कंपनी स्टूडेंट्स आपने देखा जैसे कि रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी में भी काफी काम करे, जो कि गवर्नमेंट का भी फेवरेट प्रोजेक्ट है. और कंपनी के सेफ्टी स्टैंडर्ड्स, कंपनी ऑन द अदर एंड अपने एम्प्लॉयज की सेफ्टी भी चाह रही है कि हमारे एम्प्लॉय भी ऑन द अदर एंड सेफ रहें while the manufacturing activities continued. The company believes that in resource scarce developing countries, identifying and targeting R&D policies, देखो रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट में भी कंपनी पीछे नहीं है. कंपनी रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट का भी काम कर रही है. In critical areas such as energy is particularly important to maximize benefits derived from limited funds and skilled manpower. Energy R&D policy analysis and formulation in a developing country should not be carried out in isolation. It must be consistent with overall technology policy as well as national energy policy. So management of the company is of the view that ultimately energy R&D policies and priorities must support the goals of the national socio-economic development. देखो नेशनल डेवलपमेंट में कंपनी कंट्रीब्यूट कर रही है, सोशो इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट कंपनी कंट्रीब्यूट कर रही है. देयरफॉर दीज प्रायोरिटीज, और कंपनी की प्रायोरिटी है स्टूडेंट्स, देयरफॉर दीज प्रायोरिटीज मस्ट बी डिटरमिन्ड on the basis of an analytical framework that recognizes and addresses national development objectives. The company's research and development department is working day and night very hard to come out with solar panels with the lowest possible cost so as to compete with the foreign manufacturer of solar panels. During financial year 23-24, इनकम टैक्स के लिए आपका प्रीवियस ईयर 23-24 होगा स्टूडेंट्स. गवर्नमेंट गेव द फॉलोइंग ग्रांट्स. गवर्नमेंट गेव द फॉलोइंग ग्रांट्स. अब देखो गवर्नमेंट, उधर हम वर्ड क्या है, गवर्नमेंट गेव. कोई गवर्नमेंट की कंपनी ग्रांट नहीं दे रही स्टूडेंट्स, गवर्नमेंट यहां पे ग्रांट्स दे रही है. गवर्नमेंट गेव द फॉलोइंग ग्रांट्स. अब गवर्नमेंट अगर ग्रांट दे रही है तो हमारे दिमाग में कौन सा इंड एस आता है स्टूडेंट्स? आप लिखो आंसर अपना, कौन सा इंड एस स्टूडेंट्स यहां पे एप्लीकेबल हो जाएगा अगर गवर्नमेंट ग्रांट दे रही है? तो लेट मी चेक आउट विद योर आंसर स्टूडेंट्स, प्लीज आंसर ऑन द मेल. Yes, Shilpa, are we having the answers on the mail?
I just want to confirm from students, our case study is visible on screen or not? Some student has mentioned that the case study page visible.
Case study is visible, students, or not? Please answer.
It's coming. ठीक है, students, we got the reply.
तो कौन सा स्टूडेंट्स, मैं साथ साथ आपकी थोड़ी सी दूसरे सब्जेक्ट्स की नॉलेज भी टेस्ट करूंगा कि कौन सा इंड एस एप्लीकेबल होगा स्टूडेंट्स अगर गवर्नमेंट ग्रांट्स दे रही है तो. यस शिल्पा, आर स्टूडेंट्स आंसरिंग?
सर स्क्रॉल नहीं हो रहा शायद, एक बार
स्क्रॉल यहाँ पे तो हो रहा है.
नहीं, पर स्क्रॉल हो रही है स्क्रीन, देखो हम स्क्रॉल कर रहे हैं तो नहीं.
तो स्टूडेंट्स आप केस स्टडी देख पा रहे हैं नहीं देख पा रहे, एक बार आप मेल पे लिखें, एक बार देखना क्वेरी बॉक्स में शिल्पा.
स्क्रॉल तो हो रही है ना. अच्छा ठीक है, बट वो ब्लर आ रहा है थोड़ा सा. Okay, some students are asking for Ind AS 20 on government.
Ind AS 20 वेरी गुड.
They are replying, हाँ.
Ind AS 20 यहाँ पे एप्लीकेबल हो जाएगा स्टूडेंट्स. और गवर्नमेंट गेव द फॉलोइंग ग्रांट्स, तो इसमें गवर्नमेंट की डेफिनेशन आपको अच्छे से आनी चाहिए, ग्रांट की डेफिनेशन भी अच्छे से आपको पता होनी चाहिए. टू ल्यूमिनस लिमिटेड फॉर इट्स बिजनेस ऑफ सोलर पैनल 30 lakhs. गवर्नमेंट गेव द फॉलोइंग ग्रांट्स. तो फर्स्ट ग्रांट क्या है स्टूडेंट? 30 lakhs फॉर पास्ट रिसर्च ऑफ टेक्नोलॉजी रिलेटेड टू सोलर सिस्टम. देयर इज नो कंडीशन अटैच्ड, तो इसमें गवर्नमेंट ने कोई कंडीशन नहीं लगाई है. सेकंड इज 5 lakh टुवर्ड्स परचेज ऑफ मशीनरी ऑफ 15 lakhs. तो दिस इज रिलेटेड टू ग्रांट रिलेटेड टू एसेट, आई सपोज. Useful life of the machinery is 5 years and depreciation on the machinery is to be charged on straight line basis. 3 acre, moreover 3 acres of land to set up a plant, or the fair value of land is 20 lakhs. Yes, students, fourth grant is government grant of rupees 20 lakh to defray expenses related to environmental protection. मैंने आपको बताया था उस समय कि कंपनी कॉशियस है इन चीजों को लेके और कंपनी उस पर स्पेंड भी कर रही है. आप देखो कि कंपनी ने उस पर 6 lakhs per annum स्पेंड किया फॉर द नेक्स्ट 5 years. एक्सपेक्टेड, दिस इज एक्सपेक्टेड एनवायरमेंटल कॉस्ट टू बी इनकर्ड इज 6 lakhs per annum for the next 5 years. Yes, you want to say something?
No, I just thought since students were asking whether we'll be explaining a concept also beyond that. So since it involves Ind AS 20, I thought let me just start with that.
Definitely.
So if we go with the first thing, we'll find, see, for government grants students, it is very necessary. Ind AS 20 devotes only to government grants. Any other donation by any other institution is not covered in this standard. This standard talks about only about government grants. So any grant in any form, whether it is in cash, it is in consideration, or it is in the form of any assets, whether it's current or non-current, or any type of subsidy they provide. If a government is providing to the business to an entity, then it is covered under Ind AS 20, and we have to apply Ind AS 20 for this. And above all, we have to also see whether the government grant which has been given by the government, any condition is attached to it or not. If condition is attached to it and it is a particularly related to fulfillment of conditions which is satisfied over the period of time, accounting will get different. If there no condition attached, then accounting will be different. So we have to look into that, whether any condition is attached or not. And if any condition is attached, then what is the condition and in what time duration it will be, in what duration period it will be satisfied. Accordingly, we have to account for that grant. In the first situation, if we go through that, 30 lakhs for past research of technology related to solar system, there is no condition attached to the grant. Since there is no condition attached to the grant, it means there is no question of satisfaction of the conditions. So in that case, it will immediately be charged to your profit. Sorry, it will be immediately recognized to your profit and loss. So any grant which is related to any technology but no condition is attached, it means it is immediate. It immediately becomes the income of the entity. So it will be recognized in your profit and loss as income. In second part, if you see, 5 lakh towards purchase of machinery is there, and useful life of the machinery is 5 years, and depreciation on the machinery is to be charged on straight line basis. We are here, condition is not mentioned, but auto condition is there. It understood that if you are giving if government is giving a grant related to any non-current asset, and that it is a non-current asset, means it will be used by the entity over the period, definitely by more than 12 months, beyond your reporting period or beyond 12 months from the reporting period. So in such a situation, auto condition is that till the time machinery is used, your grant will be applicable to you. Your accounting for grant is to be taken care of. So in this situation, there are two method which has been prescribed in Ind AS 20. One is either you consider the amount of government grant related to non-asset as deferred income, and systematically you just charge recognize it in the profit and loss. It means you have to capitalize whole grant, and out of that whole grant you have to systematically recognize every year till the useful life of the asset to profit and loss account. So in that case, if grant is for 5 lakh rupees and the useful life of the machinery is 5 years, so 5 lakhs divided by 5 years, five lakhs divided by 5 years, every year 1 lakh will be recognized to profit and loss account. This is first method where you are recognizing one total 5 lakh as deferred income, and out of this deferred income, you are transferring this 1 lakh every year. Every year you are transferring this to statement of profit and loss. Okay. So this is one of the first method. And in second method, what will happen? In second method, since this grant has been provided against your non-current asset, so with respect to that asset, we can reduce the cost of the asset. So instead of here in this question, the cost of the machinery is 15 lakhs and grant is provided for rupees 5 lakh. So we can assume, we can reduce the cost of 15 lakhs to by rupees 5 lakh. So 15 minus 5 lakh, 10 lakh will be recognized in your books as the cost of the asset. And what will happen? This 10 lakh will be depreciated for 5 years. Every year 2 lakh depreciation will be charged. So just let me explain you. What will be the impact in the profit and loss account in under both the methods. If we sorry, screen sharing, I believe we have the screen sharing. I just want to shift to OneNote. Just a minute, students. Let me open OneNote page where I'll just explain you what is the impact of both the methods. Let me explain, however, in both the cases, in one case, what we are doing, we are recognizing depreciation with full value of the machinery. So in this case, first method, where we are recognizing the amount of 5 lakhs as deferred grant, deferred income, what will happen? We are charging every year, we are charging 1 lakh as income. But in this case, our asset will be shown in the books by 15 lakhs only. So depreciation on this 15 lakhs divided by 5 years, we'll get 3 lakhs per annum. Per annum will be the depreciation. So this 1 lakh is your income in your statement of profit and loss, and in your statement of profit and loss, depreciation will be 3 lakh. So net impact on your profit and loss will be 2 lakh expense. Now, if we go through, if we see the second method, in second method, what will happen? You are not recognizing any deferred income. Why? Because you are reducing the cost of the asset. In that case, your cost of asset is becoming 10 lakh rupees. And in this 10 lakh rupees, when divided by 5 years, you get depreciation of 2 lakhs per annum. So you'll be charging only depreciation by 2 lakh per annum. So if you see, net impact is same. It is only the method which is showing you that first you're recognizing the income and then you're charging the depreciation with full value. Here in the second method, your depreciation automatically is adjusted with the amount of grant, and net impact will come to same. So this is first one thing. this in the second point, if we check that, sorry, there is a case study, sir. Where is the case study? Just a minute, students. I want to open my case study. Fine, PDF. PDF file. अच्छा, नोट का आइकन कौन सा है? अच्छा, अभी करें. So again, we are coming back to case study, and in case study, we have solved first point where we are saying that since no condition was attached, 30 lakh will be immediately recognized to PNL. In second case, second grant, there are two ways given in India 20. This is already you must have studied. Even if we go through Saransh, I'll navigate you through Saransh because many of the students while PMM was addressing, they were asking where is Saransh given in the BOS knowledge portal. So I'll take you to BOS knowledge portal also and locate you where the Saransh has been given. So second point, 5 lakhs, there are two methods of solving it. Either you recognize as deferred income and charge the depreciation with full value, or in the second method, you reduce the value of the cost of the asset, and after reduce and on those reduced costs, you charge the depreciation. Now, third point is 3 acres of land set up to set up a plant. The fair value of the land is 20 lakh rupees. Here, you are not providing any grant against the asset, you are providing the asset. So in this case, government is giving you an asset, not the grant against the asset. So this is the asset. When an asset is provided as a grant, there are two ways of doing it. Whether they are giving you the asset at concessional rate, or they are giving you the asset at free of cost. In this question, nothing is mentioned, so it means that the asset has been provided by the government at free of cost. When free of cost asset is provided in the form of grant, that asset is recognized in the books at nominal value. What is the nominal value here? Nominal value is say 1 rupee. That is the nominal value which you are not going to depreciate. It will only show that that asset is there in your with the entity, just to show that the assets are recognized in at nominal value. Another way is that you recognize the asset at fair value. So, however, here you can recognize now. Earlier it was only at fair value. India's 20 again says that you recognize the asset at fair value or recognize the asset at nominal value. And when you are recognizing at fair value, you have to every year see what is the fair value. But there is a second option given to recognize the asset at nominal value. So we can do both the things. We can recognize the asset since it is an asset free of cost. We can recognize it at nominal value. Further, standard also says if an asset is grant is given in the form of asset, then and that asset is given at concessional rate. So whatever is the difference between the fair value and the concessional rate, that is considered as government grant. Remaining is not considered as government grant. For example, your land is say of 20 crore rupees. Government has granted you free of cost. So you have to record in your books by nominal value, that is 1 rupee. However, if your land is of 20 crores and government has given you at concessional rate say for 15 crores. So 5 crore, which is the difference between the fair value of the asset and the value on which at which government has provided you, that concessional amount will only be considered as the amount of grant. That will be only 5 crores, 20 crores minus 15 crores. That 5 crore will be considered as the amount of grant, not the whole 20 crores, because here government is charging you something. So whatever you are paying is not a grant. Whatever you are not paying, that is the amount of grant. The fourth grant which is provided by the government is government grant of 20 lakhs to defray expenses for environmental protection. Expected environmental cost to be incurred is rupees 6 lakhs per annum for the next 5 years. So See students, here we have to see first thing is that whether the promise of 20 lakhs, it is with the condition attached that you have to, that this is to reimburse the expenses for environmental protection. Different means reimburse, whatever expenses is incurred by the entity, that the government is reimbursing to you, reimbursing to the entity. So in this case, there are two things to see. First is whether the grant is received beforehand or whether the promise to receive is certain. If promise to receive is certain, in both the situation, you have to do accrual accounting, and on the basis of accrual accounting, this 20 lakh whole will be considered as government grant and deferred income. Out of that deferred income, like we did in the second part, out of that deferred income, certain portion will be recognized every year in your statement of profit and loss. Now, you are providing grant of 20 lakhs against total expense of 30 lakhs. How it is coming 30 lakhs? See, they are saying environmental cost to be incurred is 6 lakhs per annum for the next 5 years. It means 6 into 5, you are having 30 lakhs total expense is to be incurred by the entity. Against this 30 lakh, 20 lakh is provided in the form of grant. So we have to recognize 20 lakh as on accrual basis as government grant receivable, and that receivable will be transferred to your deferred income, and out of this receivable every year we have to charge to income. And what to charge as income is the proportionate amount based on your expenses. So 6 lakhs is the total 30 lakh is the total expense, out of which 6 lakhs will be incurred every year. So your 20 lakhs into 6 by 36, this will be your, on this basis you will be calculate proportionate grant which is to be recognized to statement of profit and loss every year. This amount comes to 4 lakh rupees. Okay. So this will be charged every year to your statement, this will be recognized every year to your statement of profit and loss. Now there are two presentation ways. Like we were seeing in the second grant, there are two ways of accounting. Here there are two ways of presentation for such kind of grant. One is that you charge 4 lakh net, you charge 4 lakh as expense, 4 lakh as your income and 6 lakhs as your expense, which you are going to incur every year. One is, so just let me move to one note and then we'll see how to do it in this way. So again, there are two, for fourth grant, we are talking about fourth grant, and in fourth grant, we see there are two ways of presentation. Two ways of presentation are, okay, two ways of presentation. Under first way, we see is that your statement of profit and loss is there. First, you write other income. In other income, you are mentioning deferred government grant 4 lakh rupees. Okay. And in your expenses part, you are mentioning expenses, environmental expenses, whatever expenses you are incurring, 6 lakh rupees. Okay. So your net impact on statement of profit and loss will be 2 lakh expense. Second way is, instead of mentioning it as other income, only go to expense part. And in expense part, you reduce your 6 lakh expense with receipt of 4 lakh grant and whatever comes 2 lakh net expense that you represent in your statement of profit and loss. Again, your impact is going to be same. But this is the manner of presentation which is going to change. In both the cases, you are recognizing expense of 6 lakh. In both the cases, you are showing, you are charging the expense of 6 lakh and recognizing the income of 4 lakh. But presentation manner has been changed. In one first presentation, you are separately showing your income and you are separately showing the expense. In the second presentation, you are netting the expense by reducing the amount of income. And net expense is only shown on the face of the in the final column. Okay. So these are the 4 ways in which these are the 4 different types of grants which have been covered in this particular case study. And I have taken you the reason why this accounting is done, how this accounting is done, and how it is presented in your financial statements. In case you have any issues, please you may ask for this particular issue, then we'll move with the second part. I have some queries also with general queries, which we'll be taking after this, solving this IBS 20 wala part, and we'll talk. Accounting for government grants and disclosure of government data. Yes, ma'am, it's visible. Okay. Pradeep, sorry, Mantha is asking, ma'am, educational material on Indians is available on ICI homepage under the resources tab. Should we follow it, or it is for members only? Basically, see, education material is meant for members, but there's no harm in referring if you have sufficient time beyond after all your preparation, after completion of your preparation from BOS publication, you have additional time and you want to practice more questions, you can definitely refer the education material as well. But they are intended to make for members. So, and because concepts of India's 20 are there, on they are same only whether you study from the study material or you study from the education material. So many questions you may find it similar, which is given in the education material also, which is there in your BOS publication also. However, additional questions if you find in your education material, you can definitely refer to that. That won't be considered as out of syllabus because India's 20 is applicable to you. And what is required is that you know India's 20. From where you are practicing the question, that is up to you. Can you explain third government grant? Okay, was Mohammed Abdul Rahim is asking for third government grant. Third government grant is 3 acres of land to set up a plant. See here, grant is given by the government in the form of non-current asset. It is not given in the form of any cash or something. So here we have to see how to recognize that asset as grant. So there are two ways. One is to recognize it at fair value and another is to recognize it at nominal value. Since this asset has been given free of cost, so it is advisable to recognize it at nominal value. And when you are recognizing it, land itself is never depreciated. So you have to recognize it at nominal value only. It will continue with that nominal value. And if you are recognizing it at fair value, then every year you have to see what is the fair value of the asset on the reporting date. We'll just go through the answer of this just to see if whatever we have discussed that is there or not. Okay, students. This is the answer. This scenario is related to your question number 7. I'll just show the question first. How should Luminous Limited recognize the government grants in its books of accounts for financial year 2023-24? So we have already discussed the accounting part of this particular FR portion, which is related to grant, and that is first part. We discussed entire grant amount of 30 lakhs should be recognized immediately in P&L as there are no conditions attached to the grant. This we already discussed. Second part was regarding a grant given against your non-current asset. So 5 lakhs should be recognized as, there were two different methods which we discussed. One was either to recognize it as deferred grant income or one is to reduce from the cost of the asset. So here first it is mentioning about this first part of the point 2 is discussing the first method where 5 lakh is recognized as deferred grant, deferred income, and is transferred to P&L over the useful life of the asset. In this case, 1 lakh, 5 lakh divided by 5 years, 1 lakh is to be recognized every year as deferred income. And in the second method of this particular grant is that reduce the cost of the asset. Your cost of the asset was 15 lakhs and out of that 15 lakh, 5 lakh was reduced and our net cost of the asset which will appear in the balance sheet will be 10 lakh less depreciation. So depreciation will be on the reduced cost of the asset and reduced cost will be cost less government grant. Third is land should be recognized at fair value of 20 lakhs and government grant should be presented in the balance sheet by setting up the grant as deferred income. Alternatively, deduct the amount of grant from the cost of the asset. In the given case, the land is granted at no cost, so it will be presented in the books at nominal value. So you have to present it in the nominal value. Okay. Fourth grant which we were talking about was that amount has been given to you regarding your expenses. That is basically reimbursement of the expenses which were related to environmental protection. That if you are doing that, if you are incurring that, government is providing you some grant in the form of reimbursement of the expense. So there is basically that whole, if there is certainty that grant will be received to you, you will be able to meet the conditions, then you have to recognize the whole amount of grant which is receivable at the initial date, on the first date only, when government grant has been made, that this has been established that yes, government grant will be received, and yes, we'll be meeting the conditions which is attached to that particular grant. So we'll be recognizing the grant as receivable on the first day. Out of that, we'll be every year transferring it to P&L as deferred income. Okay. And how to present that we have discussed in detail by a separate sheet, that there are two manner of presentation, one in which you are separately showing the income and you're separately showing the expense, and in the second presentation is that you first reduce the cost of expense, you net out the expense, and the net expense is shown without showing separately the income and expense at two different places. Second manner of presentation is recommended by the standard in IBS 20. This is the reason because you will be able to locate that, okay, this expense is related to this particular grant, or this grant is related to this particular expense. So at one place you can see that. So the second manner of presentation is recommended by IBS 20 also. However, it prescribes both the presentation, but it recommends or advises to follow the second one. Okay. Second,
Yes, yes. Thank you, Thank you, Shilpa madam, for your wisdom in FR.
Some
Are there more queries?
one student has, ma'am, question number 7 is showing different question in my printout. Okay, you have taken the printout from the website. There it is question number 8. So you can check the question number 8 for this. Okay. Yes, it is question number 8 regarding that grant that we are covering it. So, okay, we are taking the study. It is better to take, refer what we are showing in the screen. Okay.
Right. Thank you, Shilpa.
Sir, one question was asked earlier.
Okay.
We should not miss that out. Let me just take that before moving with other portions.
Okay.
That particular question was general question. It was that more case studies will be issued or not. Over the period, I believe we'll be adding there are 15 case studies which are web hosted till date, and over the period we'll be adding more case studies to the website. So be in touch with the website, regularly check that. You will find more case studies over the period. As I already mentioned, in the coming edition of the Students Journal, that is completely dedicated. For final level, it is completely dedicated to IBS paper 6. So there you will be finding 2 to 3 case studies.
3 case studies are there. And 2 case studies will be in RTP.
So in RTP also we will be giving you new case studies other than what is web posted. So there will be total 5 more case studies you will get in the coming month in the form of RTP and Student Journal. Beyond that also will be over the period will be adding it on the website. Okay, question was how a paper 6 asking concept by different ways to compare as other 5 subjects. See, when you qualify as a chartered accountant, it's not that you have to particularly do only one subject area practice. You may have to apply the knowledge which you have gained from different subjects and integrate those knowledge in one scenario, in one practical situation or practical scenario. So just to make you practice with that, to how to deal with that such situation, this we have come out with this paper.
और स्टूडेंट से एक और ये जो आपका क्वेश्चन है स्टूडेंट्स, आप ये देखो, आप एक कंपनी में से ज्वाइन ही करते हो और अकाउंट्स मैनेजर ज्वाइन करते हैं आप तो उसमें आपको इनकम टैक्स भी देखना पड़ता है, जीएसटी भी देखना पड़ता है, लॉ भी देखना पड़ता है। इवन कंपनी कहती है सारा आप ही संभालो, ये लो, अगर मीडियम साइज कंपनी तो सारा ही थी, वो कहते हैं संभाल लो आप। तो आप वहां पे अकाउंट्स भी देख रहे होते हैं, आप वहां पे लॉ भी देख रहे होते हैं, आप फाइनेंस फंक्शन भी देख रहे होते हैं। तो ये मल्टीपल रोल होते हैं स्टूडेंट। सो टू हैव द प्रोफिशिएंसी इन दैट, आप अच्छे से संभाल पाए स्टूडेंट्स, ये पेपर आपको मदद करने वाला है।
This integrated approach जो आप यहाँ पे learn करेंगे ना, that will help you in your after qualifying as a chartered accountant and in your practice or in your profession.
प्रैक्टिस में आप जॉब करोगे तो जॉब में बहुत ज्यादा हेल्पफुल होने वाला है। तो प्रैक्टिस के अंदर भी आप देखो, आप जो मीडियम सिटीज के अंदर जो चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट प्रैक्टिस करते हैं वो सारे वो इनकम टैक्स में वो प्रैक्टिस कर रहे होते हैं, जीएसटी में वो बैंक फाइनेंस वो दिला रहे होते हैं। तो मल्टीपल एरिया ऑफ प्रैक्टिस होते हैं स्टूडेंट, उसमें ये चीजें आपको बड़ी मदद करने वाली हैं। यस
Sir, Manjunath MT has asked one thing. For descriptive answers, institute is checking up application knowledge whether we require to write all definitions and provisions specified in the relevant act. See, student, here in this integrated business solution paper, Depending on the marks, you have to mention the provisions. Otherwise, and also in the requirement part of the question. If your question is simply asking to compute or explain the accounting treatment, in that way you have to give small 1 or 2 line of provision, and then you can continue with the computation and give the presentation what is required. No need, since it is an open book examination, doesn't mean that you have to reproduce the whole provision and then to start with the solution. Note is not required.
Yes.
Right, sir? Okay, now you can say, I think we have covered general queries also.
Okay. Okay.
One question is difference between face value. Kirti Salgaonkar has asked difference between face value. Sorry, face value, exactly your question is not clear.
Fair
What
value
exactly?
होना चाहिए ना?
Face value, they asked.
Fair value पूछ रहा होगा.
The difference between means, sorry, Kirti, I'm not able to understand exactly what.
Nominal value और fair value में difference पूछ रहा होगा
अच्छा.
मैडम, वो आप वो बता दो.
Achha, so nominal value is basically just to show that asset is there by the with the entity. So in that case, your asset is recognized with ₹1. That is the nominal value. And fair value is what is the market value of that particular asset or exit value of that particular asset that is appeared in your balance sheet. There are two ways of representing your asset under India 20. You can choose any of them, either at fair value or at nominal value. So this paper we have to act like a consultant. This Mancha is asking. This is not necessary that as a consultant, even when you are doing a job of an accountant or when you are applying that, integrated approach is always required. Right now also we are using somewhere integrated approach, but that is subconscious. But here in this paper, you have to consciously use those knowledge which you are acquiring with from other subjects. Okay. So we can proceed with the case study.
Yes. Thank you, Shilpa madam. Yes, going ahead with the case study, students. Still now, what was there in the case study, students? Company Luminous Limited. This is environment friendly company. This is engaged in solar panel manufacturing of solar panel. और आपने देखा कि कंपनी गवर्नमेंट को कितना सपोर्ट कर रही है रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी में, और कंपनी अपने खुद के लिए भी काफी कॉन्शियस है, चाहे कॉस्ट हो चाहे एनवायरमेंट प्रोटेक्शन करने की बात है, तो कंपनी को गवर्नमेंट भी सपोर्ट कर रही है। ऑन द अदर हैंड गवर्नमेंट ने भी कंपनी को ग्रांट्स दी, इंडिया 20 एप्लीकेबल हो गया। आपने देखा शिल्पा मैडम ने कितनी ब्यूटीफुली आपको समझाया जो इंडिया से रिलेटेड पॉइंट थे, इंडिया 20 से रिलेटेड बहुत अच्छे से मैडम ने आपको समझाया स्टूडेंट्स। और आप एक एक पॉइंट जो उन्होंने बात बोली है, वर्ड्स ऑफ ग्रेट विजडम स्टूडेंट्स, सो फॉर एज फार इंडिया 20 कंसर्न, तो मैडम की जो जो पॉइंट थे आपने अच्छी तरह से उनको पिकअप किया है, और आप अपने नोट्स भी बना लिया करो, साथ साथ थोड़ा नोट डाउन भी कर लिया करो। जब भी आप केस स्टडी करने बैठते हो, जब भी आप पढ़ने बैठते हो, साथ साथ अपना पेन और नोटबुक स्टूडेंट्स जरूर रखा करो, ताकि आप एक ब्रीफ नोट्स बना पाए, साथ साथ आपको इससे मदद मिलेगी। यस, moving to ahead in the case study, students, B.R. Sridhar and Associates, ये स्टूडेंट्स स्टैट्यूटरी ऑडिटर्स हैं। बिफोर गोइंग अहेड स्टूडेंट्स, मैं इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहा हूं आपको मेघा गोयल मैडम, सीएस कंपनी सेक्रेटरी हैं।
गुड मॉर्निंग एवरीवन।
तो मेघा गोयल मैडम लॉ की फैकल्टी हैं स्टूडेंट्स, वो आपको लॉ पोर्शन जो केस स्टडी में आएगा वो एड्रेस करेंगी स्टूडेंट। तो वेलकम मेघा मैडम।
थैंक यू सर।
और B.R. Sridharan and Associates are statutory auditors of the company for financial year 23-24. Said CA firm has a entire team of skilled and proficient chartered accountants are there who can handle the various areas relating to accounting, accountancy, auditing, then income tax, GST, company law matters. This firm is having lot of chartered accountants and they are handling their part in the firm. During the financial year under consideration, board of directors of the company. अब board of directors जब भी आ जाएगा तो इसका मतलब law involved हो गया। बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स ऑफ द कंपनी स्टूडेंट्स पास डे बोर्ड रेजोल्यूशन पास हो गया स्टूडेंट्स। अब देखो यहाँ पे सीधा मेरे दिमाग में आता है कि यहाँ पे कंपनी लॉ शुरू हो चुका है। तो जब भी आप केस स्टडी पढ़ो, साथ साथ आप ये भी समझ लिया करो स्टूडेंट्स कि कौन सा एरिया अब स्टार्ट हो गया है। तो यहाँ पे मेरे को साफ साफ दिख रहा है कि लॉ पार्ट शुरू, कंपनी लॉ पार्ट शुरू हो चुका है। वन ऑफ द डायरेक्टर्स ऑफ द कंपनी मिस्टर रमेश इज ऑफ द व्यू दैट द बोर्ड कैन एक्सरसाइज दिस पावर with the consent of shareholders by way of an ordinary resolution and सॉरी मैं कोई लाइन मिस तो नहीं कर गया, बोर्ड रेजोल्यूशन तक मैं पहुंचा था। फर्स्ट लाइन में दोबारा रिपीट कर रहा हूं स्टूडेंट्स। ड्यूरिंग द फाइनेंशियल ईयर अंडर कंसिडरेशन बोर्ड passed a board resolution to sell one of the company's undertaking. तो यहाँ पे कंपनी की एक अंडरटेकिंग जो है वो सेल करना चाह रहा है बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स आउट ऑफ मल्टीपल अंडरटेकिंग। तो कंपनी की मल्टीपल अंडरटेकिंग है, मल्टीपल उसकी यूनिट्स हैं जो वो चला रही है और एक यूनिट वो उसमें से डिस्पोज ऑफ करना चाह रहे हैं। वन ऑफ द डायरेक्टर्स हु इज मिस्टर रमेश। अब देखो यहाँ पे नाम भी आप नोट करते जाना कि रमेश, मिस्टर रमेश, उसका क्या व्यू है, वो अपना व्यू क्या दे रहा है कि बोर्ड कैन एक्सरसाइज दिस पावर विद द कंसेंट ऑफ शेयर होल्डर्स बाय वे ऑफ ऑर्डिनरी रेजोल्यूशन। वो कहता है इसमें ऑर्डिनरी रेजोल्यूशन की जरूरत होगी एंड पासिंग ओनली बोर्ड रेजोल्यूशन वुड नॉट बी सफिशिएंट। तो उसने अपना व्यू पॉइंट दिया है। अदर डायरेक्टर्स ऑन द बोर्ड however did not agree with him। अदर डायरेक्टर्स उससे एग्री यहाँ पे नहीं कर रहे हैं। द इन्वेस्टमेंट ऑफ द कंपनी इन द said undertaking which has been proposed to sell is 22% of its net worth as per last audited balance sheet of financial year 22-23। मेगा मैडम मैं फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल केस स्टडी पूरी रीड आउट कर देता हूँ,
ठीक है सर।
उसके बाद हम वापसी लॉ पे आ जाते हैं।
ओके ओके।
तो स्टूडेंट्स ये इसमें ये पहरा आपका इसको हमने लॉ पे डेडिकेट कर दिया। अगर मैं इसको पैरा को नंबर दे देता हूं तो मे बी इसको 3 नंबर दे देते हैं हम। से फॉर एग्जांपल दिस इज ओनली एन एग्जांपल, मतलब दिस इज नॉट एग्जैक्टली नंबर 3, मैंने वैसे इसको 3 दे दिया फॉर द पर्पज ऑफ लॉ। ये स्टूडेंट्स फर्दर मिस्टर रमेश स्टेज इन दिल्ली विद हिज वाइफ विद रिस्पेक्ट टू वन ऑफ हिज इमूवेबल हाउस प्रॉपर्टीज इन यूएसए। अब हाउस प्रॉपर्टी का यहाँ पे जब आपको रेफरेंस आएगा तो आप एक तो आपका इनकम टैक्स में हाउस प्रॉपर्टी की तरफ, इनकम अंडर दैट हाउस प्रॉपर्टी की तरफ ध्यान चला जाएगा। और यहाँ पे हाउस प्रॉपर्टी अगर आ जाएगी तो आगे पढ़ते हैं क्या, ही टुक द प्रोफेशनल सर्विसेज ऑफ कंसल्टिंग इंजीनियर मिस्टर जॉर्ज बेस। अब उसने सर्विसेज ले ली तो हमारा इमीडिएटली दिमाग कहाँ चला गया, हमारा दिमाग वहां पे जीएसटी पे चला गया। सर्विस ले ली बिकॉज उसने मिस्टर जॉर्ज की उसने सर्विस ले ली जो कि चेन्नई में रहते हैं, बेस्ड आउट इन चेन्नई। Mr. George has high engineering qualifications, specialized background, and wide experience, and can plan, design, and supervise and help in undertaking maintenance of any type of structure according to the needs of the client. So he took professional services of a consulting engineer, Mr. George. और students immovable with respect to one of his immovable property कहाँ पे, यूएसए में, तो उसकी प्रॉपर्टी बाहर है। और यहाँ पे जो सर्विस प्रोवाइडर कौन है, जॉर्ज है। सर्विस रेसिपिएंट कौन है, यहाँ पे मिस्टर रमेश है। और सर्विस जो हाउस प्रॉपर्टी सर्विसेज इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ ए हाउस प्रॉपर्टी वो कहाँ पे लोकेशन है उसकी, उसकी यूएसए में, यूएसए में है। तो स्टूडेंट्स ये सारे इसके फैक्ट्स क्वेश्चन में दिए, आप देखेंगे क्वेश्चन क्या आता है। अभी तो ये फैक्ट्स है स्टूडेंट्स, एंड क्वेश्चन सीम टू बी इन रिस्पेक्ट ऑफ जीएसटी। ऑन 31st May 23 मिस्टर रमेश टुक आउट हिज फैमिली टू एन अम्यूजमेंट पार्क लोकेटेड इन गुरुग्राम हरियाणा। दिस पर्टिकुलर, ये इसको मैं पैरा 4 दे देता हूं नाम। देखा मैडम, इसको आप पैरा 4 दे दो मिस्टर में। ये जो हाउस प्रॉपर्टी से रिलेटेड पैरा, इसको मैंने पैरा 4 दे दिया फॉर द कन्वीनियंस से। ऑन 31st May 23 मिस्टर रमेश टुक हिज फैमिली टू एन अम्यूजमेंट पार्क लोकेटेड इन गुरुग्राम हरियाणा। This particular amusement park has various attractions such as rides and games as well as other events for entertainment purposes. For such visits, son of Mr. Ramesh, who stays in Jaipur for his studies, came to Delhi. Mr. Ramesh bought 3 tickets of amusement park. अब स्टूडेंट्स क्या मैं आपसे क्वेश्चन पूछ सकता हूं कि यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन क्या उसने, ये कौन से सब्जेक्ट से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन होगा और क्या क्वेश्चन पूछा होगा। तो मैं आपके यहाँ पे, आप क्वेरी बॉक्स में मुझे लिख सकते हैं, मेल पे लिख सकते हैं कि क्या कौन सा सब्जेक्ट यहाँ पे इन्वॉल्व आपको लग रहा है। तो देखो केस स्टडी में आपकी डीप जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है, डीप नॉलेज है, वो टेस्ट कर जाते हैं। तो इसमें आपको बड़ा ध्यान रखना होता है जब आप केस स्टडी इटसेल्फ रीड कर रहे हो, तो उस रीडिंग में ही आपको जो रीडिंग टाइम मिलेगा, तो आप एक बार यहाँ पे ये आइडेंटिफाई कर लें स्टूडेंट्स कि कौन कौन से सब्जेक्ट्स उसमें इन्वॉल्व हो रहे हैं। अब यहाँ पे आपको यहाँ पे ये पता होना चाहिए कि कौन सा सब्जेक्ट, जैसे कि वहां पे काफी क्लियर, यहाँ पे इतनी क्लैरिटी नहीं हो रही कि कौन सा। तो यहाँ पे मेरे को जो मैं आपके पहले आंसर देखता हूँ, आप क्या देते हो। यस, आर देयर?
Yes, one student, Mr. Prashad ji, has written that place of supply.
प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, वेरी गुड आंसर। तो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई यहाँ पे इन्वॉल्व होगा और वो देखेंगे हम जब क्वेश्चन आएगा तो क्या होगा। अभी आप, मैं सभी स्टूडेंट से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा, अभी आप अगर आपके पास केस स्टडीज का प्रिंट आउट तो आप आंसर पे मत अभी देखो, क्योंकि आंसर देखोगे तो फिर आपको केस स्टडी करने का मजा नहीं आएगा। तो अभी आप आंसर पे मत जाओ, अभी आप हमारे साथ ही चलो, जहां हम चल रहे हैं वहीं पे आप बैठो, तो फिर केस स्टडी करने में आपको अलग तरीके का आनंद आएगा। यस मेघा मैडम, आप पढ़ोगे नेक्स्ट पैरा?
Yes, sir. Sir, that Luminous Limited is based in Delhi primarily. During the financial year 2023-24, the company receives legal services from an attorney in Dubai, unrelated person, in relation to registration of company's trademark in Dubai. The company paid AED 10,000 for the same to the attorney in Dubai.
अब स्टूडेंट्स अगर आप देखो, यहां पे दिल्ली में लुमिनस लिमिटेड बेस्ड इन दिल्ली है, और कंपनी ने सीधे सीधे ये तो क्लियरली बोल रहा है आपको कि सीधे सीधे हमने लीगल सर्विसेज ली हैं अटॉर्नी से दुबई में, एडवोकेट से, इन रिलेशन टू रजिस्ट्रेशन ट्रेडमार्क ऑफ द कंपनी, रजिस्ट्रेशन ऑफ कंपनी ट्रेडमार्क, और कंपनी ने उसको पेमेंट भी की है। तो यहाँ पे जीएसटी के बहुत सारे सेक्शंस, आप बताओ कौन कौन से यहाँ पे प्रोविजन लगेंगे और क्या क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे पूछा है, वो अभी हम देखेंगे, आगे ही देखेंगे। और फिर आगे लॉ से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन लग रहा है। द कंपनी हैज 10 डायरेक्टर्स ऑन इट्स बोर्ड, 3 of directors have retired by rotation at the AGM conducted recently. Place of retiring directors is not so filled up, and the meeting has also not expressly resolved not to fill the vacancy. Since the AGM could not complete the said business, it was adjourned to the same day next week at the same time and place. At this adjourned meeting also, the place of retiring directors could not be filled up, and the meeting has also not expressly. तो बहुत अच्छा इसमें फैक्ट्स दिए हैं मेघा मैडम लॉ से रिलेटेड।
Yes,
तो
sir.
आप इस पे कुछ कहना चाहेंगे मेघा मैडम?
Sir, when we'll discuss the descriptive portion, we'll discuss it in
Perfect,
detail.
perfect. Further, students, Mr. Baldev is one of the directors of the company. During the financial year, कंपनी पेड हिम सिटिंग फीस। अब सिटिंग फीस उसने कंपनी को, अब यहाँ पे ये भी नहीं पता लग रहा है, ये लॉ का क्वेश्चन पूछा जाएगा यहाँ पे जीएसटी को। सिटिंग फीस में जो डायरेक्टर की रेम्युनरेशन से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन जीएसटी में भी बन जाता है और यहाँ पे लॉ से रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन भी बन जाता है। तो यहाँ देखेंगे हम। अभी आप आंसर और क्वेश्चन अभी देखने की जल्दी मत करो, और अपना खुद से अपना दिमाग से सोचो कि कैसे क्या होना चाहिए। ये स्टूडेंट्स, द कंपनी हैज इट्स next para, last para of the case studies, company has its retail showrooms in Patiala and Delhi and factory at Ludhiana, Punjab. During the financial year 23-24, the company has manufactured 1,50,000 units of solar panels at its factory at Ludhiana, Punjab. The management decided to transfer half of the units manufactured to one of its retail showrooms in Patiala and the second half to its retail showroom in Delhi for sale therefrom. So the factory and aforesaid retail showrooms are registered under GST. तो ये तो clear cut GST का मामला है in the states where they are located. Further, the company has obtained separate registrations under GST for Ludhiana factory and Patiala showroom. तो आप देखो इसमें क्या है, कंपनी के शोरूम्स हैं पटियाला और दिल्ली में, और फैक्ट्री कहाँ पे है? लुधियाना में। और कंपनी जो है वो ट्रांसफर कर रही है स्टॉक from factory to showroom and between showrooms. The management of the company understands that such transfer shall not be considered. और मैनेजमेंट कहती है ये सप्लाई नहीं मानी जाएगी अंडर जीएसटी as such transfers are without any. तो इसमें कौन सा क्या अप्लाई होगा जीएसटी, कौन से प्रोविजन लगेंगे, क्या क्वेश्चन पूछा गया, ये सारी बातें अब हम डिस्कस करेंगे। तो हैविंग रेड विद द केस स्टडी, वी हैव कंप्लीटली रेड द केस स्टडी। स्टूडेंट्स, अब हम क्वेश्चन देखते हैं कि इसमें क्वेश्चन उसने किस किस पैरा पे क्या क्या क्वेश्चन बनाए हैं। तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल मेघा मैडम, एमसीक्यू नंबर 1 मेघा आप लेना चाहोगे?
Yes, sir.
यस मेघा मैडम, एमसीक्यू 1 आपको एड्रेस करेंगी कि उसमें क्या प्रोविजन लॉ के इन्वॉल्व है और कौन सा पैरा हमने केस स्टडी में पढ़ा है और क्या क्या ऑप्शन है, ये सारी बातें मेघा मैडम आपसे डिस्कस करेंगे।
Dear students, if we look in the multiple choice question, the first question, if we read, it is written here that is understanding of Mr. Ramesh for obtaining prior consent for selling one of the undertakings of the company correct, considering the fact that Luminous Limited is not a private company. So we have read the complete case study. The question is based on prior consent for selling one of the undertakings. So for after reading the MCQs, we will first read the only question. We will not go to the options of the MCQ. First of all, we have read the question of the MCQ. Now we will move towards the case study. We have to again read that paragraph of our case study for better understanding of that MCQ. If we read from the case study once again, we can see that during the financial year under consideration, the board of directors of the company passed a board resolution to sell one of the company's undertaking out of the multiple undertakings of the company. Okay. One of the directors of the company, Mr. Ramesh, is of the view that the board can exercise this power with the consent of shareholders by way of an ordinary resolutions. Here we can see that two things are specified here, that consent of shareholders and then the by way of ordinary resolution, and passing only a board resolution would not be sufficient. So dear students, if we look at this paragraph, here 2-3 concepts of the company law are covered. First of all, the question of this MCQ is covered under your chapter 3, that is powers of board and its restrictions. Okay. The third chapter of self-paced module A, chapter 3 meetings. Okay, this is a very important chapter. So kindly go through chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 perfectly, because so many questions are covered on these 3 chapters.
मेगा मैडम 1 मिनट के लिए मैं इंटरवीन कर रहा हूँ. तो स्टूडेंट्स, जैसा कि आप सबको मालूम है कि ये सेट बी का पेपर है या सेट ए का पेपर है. स्टूडेंट्स, सेट ए का पेपर है, तो अभी आप कोर पेपर्स की तैयारी के साथ साथ ये पेपर नहीं पढ़ रहे होंगे. ये पेपर अभी आपका शुरू आपने नहीं किया होगा स्टूडेंट्स. तो इसको जो मेगा मैडम आपको बता रहे हैं, ये सारी बातें आप ध्यान से नोट करना. और जो मेगा मैडम बोल रहे हैं ना आपको कि ये चैप्टर का क्वेश्चन है, तो आपको वो चैप्टर ओपन करके एक बार रीड आउट जरूर करना चाहिए आज ही. तो ये मेरी सभी स्टूडेंट्स को जो कि अभी लेक्चर देख रहे हैं, बाद में भी देखेंगे, तो सभी को ये एडवाइस है कि आप ये चैप्टर जो मेगा मैडम की इंस्ट्रक्शन को स्ट्रिक्टली फॉलो करना. तो आपका साथ साथ फिर एक लर्निंग बैकग्राउंड, लर्निंग बेस इस सेट ए का भी बनता जाएगा.
यस. और अगर हम देखेंगे इस पैराग्राफ में, जैसे कंसेंट ऑफ शेयर होल्डर्स है, ऑर्डिनरी रिजोल्यूशन, all these provisions are interrelated. The some provisions are covered in your inter-study material, because inter-study material may we have covered up to section 148, and apart from section 149 that is covered in your self-paced module. So along with self-paced module, you should have the knowledge. आपने अभी तक 148 sections पढ़े हैं, तो आपको एक knowledge हो गई होगी कि कंपनी का फ्रेमवर्क कैसे चलता है, how the company moves, how the day-to-day transactions are being followed. So अगर जैसे आपने intermediate, you are the intermediate pass students, you have come to the paper for 6, आपने देखा होगा कि company, the overall framework of the company has been divided. The powers of the company has been divided into 2 parts. The first part, that powers which only board of directors can do. Okay. क्यों ये कॉन्सेप्ट क्यों है बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स एंड शेयर होल्डर्स का? बिकॉज शेयर होल्डर्स कौन होते हैं? हमारे मेंबर्स जो हमारे शेयर्स परचेज करते हैं. एंड हु आर द बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स? द बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स आर द पर्संस हु द शेयर होल्डर्स अपॉइंट फॉर डीलिंग विद द डे टू डे अफेयर्स ऑफ द कंपनी. हमारे जो शेयर होल्डर्स हैं, they cannot come daily to the company, they cannot manage the affairs, so they simply appoint the board of directors. Okay. तो हमारे कंपनी जो हमारा शेयर होल्डर्स है, कंपनी लॉ है, वो हमारे कंपनी के डे टू डे अफेयर्स को दे डिवाइड द कंपनी डे टू डे आइटम्स, द बिजनेस ट्रांजेक्शंस इनटू 2 पार्ट्स. फर्स्ट, पावर्स विच हैव टू बी डन बाय द बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स, विच जो नॉर्मल आपकी ट्रांजेक्शंस हैं वो आप बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स कर सकता है. कुछ पावर्स, देयर आर सर्टेन पावर्स विच ओनली शेयर होल्डर्स कैन डू. अगर हम सारी की सारी पावर्स, इफ वी गिव ऑल द पावर्स टू द बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स, तो board of directors can misuse that powers. Okay. So the company law has divided the powers into 2 sections. That section 1 is section 179 that deals with the powers of the board of directors, which they can do at their own, for which they have to pass the board resolution only. Resolution के लिए I will come later on after this concept of powers. And second, there are second lot of powers which the shareholders can do. Shareholders कैसे करेंगे? Like board of directors ने आपको देखा कि कोई transaction they have to clear, कुछ उनको invest करना है या some borrow करना है, तो उसके लिए they have to pass an ordinary resolution or a special resolution at the general meeting. General meeting, there are 2 types of meeting. Board meeting. Board meeting में क्या होता है? only board of directors sit and board resolution is passed. Okay, तो अगर हम देखेंगे तो two powers are there. Section 179, that is board, and section 180 that we deals with जनरल मीटिंग. जनरल मीटिंग क्या होती है? जनरल मीटिंग हमारी शेयर होल्डर्स की होती है. ओके, तो अगर हम देखेंगे 179 के अंदर क्या क्या पावर्स हैं, 179 के अगर हम देखें डिटेल में, दैट इज कवर्ड इन योर चैप्टर 3. इफ वी गो इनटू डिटेल, section 179 के अंदर there are certain powers which only board of directors can do. For that they have to pass only board resolution, no ordinary resolution, no special resolution. किसका resolution चाहिए? बोर्ड रिजोल्यूशन का. वो अपनी बोर्ड रिजोल्यूशन आपकी बोर्ड मीटिंग के लिए सेपरेट प्रोविजंस हैं कि वंस आपको फुल फाइनेंशियल ईयर में 4 बोर्ड मीटिंग्स हैव टू कंडक्ट. ओके, सो दीज आर द कोरम रिलेटेड प्रोविजंस आल्सो. तो अगर हम मूविंग टू 179 अगर हम देखें तो व्हाट आर द पावर्स व्हिच आर ओनली विद द बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स, दैट आर टू मेक कॉल ऑन शेयर होल्डर्स. अगर कुछ शेयर होल्डर्स में की कॉल्स अनपेड है तो board of directors can call the shareholder to repay the unpaid amount. Second one is to authorize buyback of shares. There are certain powers like to issue securities, to borrow monies. All these can be done by board of directors, like to invest the funds of the company, to grant loans, or sometimes the company is required to some loan or providing guarantee. So the board of directors can do, but there are also some restrictions. We will move to section 180 also. To approve financial statements and board resolution, like for every year we have to make the financial statements and the same have to approve in the AGM. But ये approve first level पे आपका जो होता है वो आपने intermediate में पढ़ा होगा. The first level approval is done by the board of directors through board report. Then later on at the last, then it by the auditors also, and then at the end it is approved at the AGM. Okay. Then to diversify the business, sometimes the business the directors want that object थोड़ा सा हमें business को और बढ़ाना है, कंपनी का जो ट्रांजेक्शन है उसको थोड़ा बढ़ाना है, तो board of directors can do through the board of resolution. Then to amalgamate or to merger or reconstruction, that the board of directors can do at their own. To take over or acquire, or sometimes the company wants to politically contribute in some political contributions, or to appoint or remove KMP, or to appoint internal auditors. So this is the framework of section 179, that these are the powers which only board of directors can do with their power only at the board meeting. For these powers, the company, the board of directors is not required to go to the general meeting, to go to the shareholders.
अब कितने ब्यूटीफुली स्टूडेंट्स आपको समझाया है कि कौन से डिसीजन है जो बोर्ड इंडिपेंडेंट. मेगा मैडम ने तो आपको बिल्कुल एक लॉजिक से एक्सप्लेन कर दिया. इनफैक्ट लॉ में लॉजिक नहीं चलता. लेकिन आप देखो मेगा मैडम ने आपको कैसे समझा दिया है स्टूडेंट्स. तो आप ये चीजें बड़ी इंपॉर्टेंट है. और अभी ये सेट ए का पेपर है स्टूडेंट, आप इसकी तो आप ये वाली अंडरस्टैंडिंग अगर आप एक बार बना लेंगे जो आपको दी जा रही है, और आप बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स की जो मेगा मैडम बता रहे हैं कि कैसे बोर्ड ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स अपने आप से डिसीजन कौन कौन से ले सकते हैं, और जो शेयर होल्डर्स की मीटिंग में जाने जरूरी नहीं है स्टूडेंट्स. तो अभी तो इस केस स्टडी में तो ये क्वेश्चन पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है, तो लेफ्ट राइट से आपको आगे पीछे से सब उसको स्टडी कर लेना चाहिए, और जो समझा रहे हैं उसको अच्छी तरह से, और जो चैप्टर का नाम बताया उसको भी आप अच्छी तरह से एक बार देख लेना. यस यू कैन.
सेक्शन 179 हमने देख लिया. अब जो हम जैसे सर ने बताया कि हमें उसके आगे पीछे के सेक्शंस भी देखने हैं, वी हैव टू लुक द इन रिलेटेड सेक्शंस आल्सो. 179 हमने थोड़ा सा रिलेटेड था वो पढ़ लिया. नाउ मूविंग टू द मेन सेक्शन दैट इज पर्टेनिंग टू दैट एमसीक्यू इज सेक्शन 180. अब मैंने आपको बताया, आई हैव explained you that there are certain powers which only board of directors, but there are certain powers for which the board of directors have to pass an ordinary resolution or a special resolution. That two resolutions कहाँ पास हो सकते हैं? Only at the general meeting. General meeting किसकी होती है? General meetings होती है शेयर होल्डर्स की. Okay, तो there are certain items, उसके लिए we have to go to the shareholders for their approval. So हमारा section 180 covers restriction on powers of the board. These are types of restrictions कि जो board अपने आप नहीं कर सकता, which the board of directors cannot do on their own. For that items, the board of directors have to go to the shareholders at the general meeting by passing an ordinary resolution or special resolution. So, what are the powers which are covered under section 180? The first power that we have to take approval of the general meeting is to sell, lease, or otherwise dispose of the whole or substantially the whole of the undertaking of the company. Here, the question is also talks about selling of one of the undertaking, and the 180 the अगर हम subsection 1 का clause A देखें तो first A clause A mentions directly that for selling, leasing, or otherwise disposing of the undertaking of the company, the board of directors have to pass an special resolution. Okay, not on its own, they have to pass the special resolution. I will come to special resolution also. Okay, what is special resolution is some students have forgotten in the intermediate examination. तो फर्स्ट पावर हमारी कंपनी की क्या है? डायरेक्ट कंपनी जो कर सकता है, अगर if the company wants, if the board of directors want to sell one of the undertaking, so they have to go to the general meeting and pass an special resolution. अब इसके अंदर अगर हम सेक्शन को डिटेल में पढ़ेंगे तो हमारा इसमें ये भी इट इज ऑल्सो मेंशन दैट अंडरटेकिंग कितनी हो सकती है. समटाइम्स द अंडरटेकिंग जो हमारा कंपनी अंडरटेकिंग की जो वैल्यू है दैट इज 5%, 2%, तो that is not major, that is not very crucial. So for that purpose, the company law section 180 prescribes that if the undertaking, investment in that undertaking exceeds 20%, then the board of directors has to go to the company and pass a special resolution. That means if the investment in said undertaking of the company is below 20%, then the board of directors can do that item on their own. But since the company law specifies that the investment in that undertaking, if exceeding 20%, then the board of directors has to go to the company and pass a special resolution. And in the said MCQ, in the said paragraph, we can say that the investment of the company in the said undertaking, which has been proposed to sell, is 22% of its net worth. So we can see that here the special resolution has to pass, but the board of the Ramesh is saying that only is ordinary resolution. So that means he is incorrect. Abhi we will go in further details कि what is the question specifies. But first of all, अगर हमने paragraph पढ़ा है and we have an understanding, thorough understanding of section 180 of the Companies Act 2013, so we have a clarity that in this case, since the investment is exceeding 20%, it is 22%, though board of directors has to go to the general meeting by passing a special resolution. Okay, so second power हमने देख लिया. First power is selling or disposing of the undertaking. The second power for which the board of directors has to go to the company is to invest otherwise in trust securities. The third power is borrow money. This is a very important clause. If we look at this provision, there are so many questions in our test, our knowledge. Direct descriptive questions are also there, calculation based. Like if the company wants to borrow, there is a certain limit. If the borrowing limit is up to paid up share capital, free reserves, and securities premium, then the board of directors is not required to go to the company. But if the borrowing is exceeding the aggregate of share capital, free reserve, and securities premium, then the board of directors has to go to the shareholders by passing ordinary and or special resolution as the case may be. The fourth power that the board of directors cannot do on their own is to remit or give time for the repayment or any debt due from a director. अगर हम ये power भी, if this power is also with the directors, so they will not repay the loan given to them. Okay, so that power the company law has provided to the shareholders. Like if any debt is repayable by a director, then it cannot be remitted or its repayment time cannot be extended unless passing a special resolution given by the company. Company means general meeting. Okay, So we have seen that under section 180, around 4 powers are there: selling or disposing of in undertaking, then invest otherwise in trust securities, to borrow money, to remit or give time. So, or one more thing, here the question is specified that 22% of its net worth, that this net worth we have also read in the study in the intermediate. Net worth क्या होती है? Net worth वैसे हमारे क्वेश्चन में it's already given 20% of the net worth, but डिटेल्स अगर हमें कॉन्सेप्ट क्लियर करना है, मोर कॉन्सेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी, तो वी कैन से दैट नेटवर्थ is covered under section 2 subsection 57 subclause 57 of the Companies Act. Net worth means the aggregate of the paid up share capital, reserves, free reserves which is ready for distribution, and third is your securities premium account, and some items which we have to reduce from these aggregate is your accumulated losses, deferred expenditure, or some miscellaneous expenditure. So we have discussed the definition of net worth also, but that is not required. I just tell you about regarding the concept clarity ki what is net worth. So now there are two types of resolutions, ordinary resolution and special resolution. ये भी students आपको पता होगा कि special resolution and ordinary resolution में what is the difference. If the company law specifies that certain item has to be passed by ordinary resolution, then in that case the aggregate, the votes in favor of that item is simple 50%. That means if 100 shareholders are there in the general meeting, सबसे पहले resolution आपका general meeting में होगा. If there are 100 shareholders, that means simple majority means 51 shareholders are in favor of that resolution and 49 are against. Then the said item can be passed. Now moving to what is special resolution. Special resolution may there are 3 times majority, like that we can say simply 75% of the members, 75% of the shareholders has to be in favor for that item. Like we supposing we are taking the same example, 100 shareholders are there, so that means 75, around 75 members should be in favor of that item and 25 are against. So that means we can consider that that item is passed by special resolution. Special resolution ke liye there are some more requirements are there, like it has to be specified in the notice. Notice आपको पता होगा for whenever we are conducting a board meeting, whenever we are conducting a general meeting, we have to give a notice to the shareholders telling about what are the items to be discussed, what are the resolutions to be discussed. So लेंथ अगर हम देखें, नोटिस हमें कब पास करना पड़ता है, इट इज कवर्ड इन द इंटरमीडिएट, दैट इज 21 डेज. तो ये सारे जो बेसिक कॉन्सेप्ट्स हैं, दैट इज क्लियर इन योर माइंड. we are not going to ask you intermediate questions, but these are the basic knowledge of the company law provisions. Okay, so अगर हम देखें तो लेंथ ऑफ द नोटिस क्या होता है, 21 डेज. हमें 21 डेज पहले मीटिंग से बिफोर 21 डेज वी हैव टू सेंड अ नोटिस. And if we are about to pass a special resolution, so we have to mention in that notice that we are passing a special resolution, and along with the special resolution, we have to give an explanatory statement. Explanatory statement along with the reasons that why we are passing this special resolution, what is the purpose behind it. So we have seen the difference between ordinary resolution and special resolution. Now moving back to the paragraph, we can see that one of the company's undertaking. Okay, Mr. Ramesh is of the view that board can exercise this power with the consent with the shareholders by way of an ordinary resolution, and passing only a board resolution would not be sufficient. This he is correct, that board resolution is not only sufficient, but the problem is where? The problem is here, ordinary resolution. He is thinking, he is of the opinion that for this item, the resolution required is only ordinary resolution. Moving to further, the other directors on the board, however, did not agree with him. The investment has been proposed to sell is 22% of its net worth. We have discussed that if the investment of the company in said undertaking is above 20%, then the special resolution is required. Now we will come to our MCQ. Yes, now we will again read the MCQ first. Is understanding of Mr. Ramesh for obtaining prior consent for selling one of the undertakings of the company correct? Considering the fact that Luminous Limited is not a private company, dear student, also that section 180 is not applicable to the private company. But here the Luminous Limited is not a private company, it's a public limited company. So section 180 of the Companies Act will apply here. Now we will read one of our four options. We have to read all the four questions simultaneously. Sometimes क्या होता है, student ने first read provision option A, उसको लगा कि yes, A तो मेरा बिल्कुल correct है, उसने in spite of looking at all the three options, he just gave the answer A. But all these options are closed. Okay, so before taking the correct option, we request you to kindly go through all the options.
स्टूडेंट्स, बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है स्टूडेंट्स, जो मेघा मैडम ने बताया अभी आपको, कि एमसीक्यू सॉल्व करने के लिए हमेशा मेक इट ए पॉइंट स्टूडेंट्स, आप इसे नोट कर लें अच्छी तरह से अपने माइंड में, कि आपको सारे ऑप्शंस पढ़े बिना टिक नहीं लगाना। ये बहुत 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 इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट है स्टूडेंट्स। सारे ऑप्शंस आप पहले एक बार केयरफुली देख लें, बिकॉज ऑप्शंस मेगा मैडम कह रहे हैं क्लोज होते हैं। बिल्कुल ठीक कहा कि क्लोज होते हैं, उनमें माइनर डिफरेंसेस होते हैं। कई बार आप जल्दी में टिक कर जाते हो, फिर वहां पे आपको शीट मिल ये, लेकिन इस पेपर में तो खैर आप वैसे होएगा, लेकिन और पेपर में भी आप ध्यान रखना कि आपको एक शीट पे टिक कर, वहां पे
OMR
सर्कल
sheet.
ओएमआर शीट पे आपको फिलअप करना होता है वहां पे उसको। फिर तो एक बार आप कर लोगे तो फिर चेंज करना पॉसिबल भी नहीं हो पाता है। तो इसलिए स्टूडेंट्स केयरफुल रहें इस बारे में।
Yes. First option, if we look, no, as the only board resolution is required in this case, which has been duly passed. No, this is not the correct option, because it says that only board resolution is required. So this is incorrect option. Moving to option B, no, as the board can exercise this power with the consent of shareholders by passing a special resolution and not on its own, simply by passing an ordinary resolution.
स्टूडेंट्स, आप अगर केस स्टडी, अगर आप आंसर नहीं देख रहे तो आप यहाँ पे आंसर अपने लिख के भेजो ना, कौन सा होना चाहिए। आपने टिक कर दिया मेगा मैडम, कोई बात
नहीं। अभी तक ए और बी में अगर मैं देखूं तो ए एंड बी इज द मोर अप्रोप्रिएट आंसर, बट आई हैव नॉट रीड द ऑप्शन सी एंड डी टिल नाउ. Okay. Yes. Moving to option C, yes, his understanding is correct. No, his understanding is not correct, because he is thinking about ordinary resolution. But here the act says, the Companies Act says that it should be special resolution. So that ये C वाला ऑप्शन भी आपका इनकरेक्ट है. Moving to option D, partially correct, as the board shall exercise the powers with the consent of the company by an ordinary resolution and not only by passing a board resolution at a board meeting. Further, prior approval of the registrar of companies is also required. Here the question does not require, here the act does not require that for selling its undertaking, the company has to go to the ROC. So if we look at four options, we can see that option B is the correct option. The company, the board of directors, for certain powers has to go to the company. And since this provision, this item is based on selling or disposing of the undertaking, the investment of the company is exceeding 20%. So the board of directors has to go to the shareholders, to the general meeting. They have to conduct a general meeting. They have to send a notice, and in that notice, special resolution is required. So we have to mention that special resolution is required in that portion. And if the company in the general meeting, the shareholders passed that resolution by 75% majority, then only the company can sell its undertaking.
Yes, students, after this we will take a break for 5 minutes and then we will continue.
सर अब आप सेकंड से स्टार्ट कर दीजिएगा। मेरा अब आएगा डिस्क्रिप्टिव क्वेश्चन।
तो मैं शुरू बोल सकता हूँ।
मनीष जी, आर वी लाइव?
Yes, welcome back, students. Now coming to question number 2 of the case study. What is the place? Question number 2 क्या पूछा है? What is the place of supply? With place of supply, students, आपका चैप्टर नंबर 3 है जीएसटी में, और प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई से जो क्वेश्चन है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू प्रोफेशनल सर्विस रेंडर्ड बाय मिस्टर जॉर्ज टू मिस्टर रमेश, कहता है प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई चेन्नई, दिल्ली, यूएसए, प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई नॉट, ये ऑप्शंस हैं डिफरेंट स्टूडेंट्स। अब आप अगर केस स्टडी में जाते हैं, उसका रेलेवेंट पार्ट अगर देखते हैं तो क्या है मिस्टर जॉर्ज से रिलेटेड। मिस्टर रमेश इज स्टेइंग इन दिल्ली, तो प्लेस ऑफ recipient of service is in Delhi with respect to one of his or his the relating to this service is related to immovable property which is located in USA. He took the professional services of a consulting engineer. Students, ये IGST आपको सबको मालूम है that in respect of place of supply, IGST Act is relevant, and in respect of where place of supply, in case of place of supply, where location of supplier of service and the location of the recipients of service both is in India, where the location of supplier of service, who is the supplier of service? George. Who is the recipient of service? Mr. Ramesh. Ramesh is staying in Delhi and George is staying in Chennai. So both are in India if the location of the supplier of the service and the location of the recipient both is location दोनों की इंडिया में students, then section 12 of the IGST Act is applicable. And in this particular case, students, the service is in respect of immovable property, and when the service is in respect of immovable property, the place section 12 subsection 3 becomes applicable, which says, and the clause A of section 12 subsection 3 clause A states, तो इस केस में स्टूडेंट्स सेक्शन 12 में अगर आप जाएंगे, सेक्शन 12 सेक्शन 1 minute students, section 12, I think something is going wrong students, just wait. Section 12 subsection 3 clause A states place of supply of service, subsection 3 clause A, it is in respect of para 4 we are writing this, directly in relation to the place of supply of services, directly in relation to an immovable property. This is immovable property, including services provided by architects, interior decorators, surveyor, engineers, and other related experts or estate agents. Any service provided by way of grant of rights to use immovable property or for carrying out coordination. तो यहां पे आप देख रहे हैं कंसल्टिंग इंजीनियर है मिस्टर जॉर्ज, कंसल्टिंग इंजीनियर, So he is providing, so this is covered in 12(3) subclause A. And where the location, इसमें स्टूडेंट्स 12(3)(a) का एक प्रोविजो है स्टूडेंट्स, which provides that, provided that if the location of the immovable property is outside India, then the place of supply, because the location of the immovable house property is outside India, तो प्रोविजो एप्लीकेबल हो जाएगा स्टूडेंट्स। तो आप एप्लीकेशन समझ रहे हैं स्टूडेंट्स इसकी, कैसे इसको हमने अप्लाई करना है। तो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई स्टूडेंट्स, यहां पे क्या होगा, प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई शैल बी द लोकेशन ऑफ द रेसिपिएंट। तो रेसिपिएंट स्टूडेंट्स कौन है यहाँ पे, रेसिपिएंट है मिस्टर रमेश, और मिस्टर रमेश कहां पे रहते हैं, दिल्ली में रहते हैं। तो इसका आंसर स्टूडेंट होना चाहिए दिल्ली होना चाहिए इसका आंसर। सो ये पेज नंबर 3.20 और 3.21 पे अगर आप जीएसटी मॉड्यूल 1 के अंदर अगर आप देखेंगे, वहां पे आप ये वाला ये आंसर पे अराइव कर पाएंगे स्टूडेंट्स। सो ये वाली बातें हैं इसमें स्टूडेंट्स। अगर हम एमसीक्यू को देखते हैं अभी, व्हाट इज द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई विद रिस्पेक्ट टू प्रोफेशनल सर्विसेज रेंडर्ड बाय मिस्टर जॉर्ज टू मिस्टर रमेश। तो आंसर हमारा निकल के आ रहा है चेन्नई नहीं है, दिल्ली, चेन्नई दिल्ली यूएसए प्लेस नॉट रेल। तो इसका आंसर दिल्ली देखो आ रहा है ना, तो दिल्ली बी आंसर है इसका। हमने चारों ऑप्शन पढ़े फिर डिसाइड किया, अब आपको रीजन में दिखाता हूं इसका। बी दिल्ली, दैट प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ सर्विसेज directly in relation to an immovable property, clause A. This is clause A, directly in relation to an immovable property, including services provided by architects, interior decorators, surveyor, engineers, and वो जो मैंने आपको भी पढ़ के सुनाया, any service provided by rights, grant of rights to use immovable or for carrying out coordination of construction work. तो इसमें स्टूडेंट्स shall be the location at which the property, तो अगर ये वाला केस है तो shall be the location at which immovable property is situated। लेकिन यहां पे क्या है, यहां पे प्रोविजन क्यों लग गया, बिकॉज द लोकेशन ऑफ इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी इज आउटसाइड इंडिया, इसलिए यहां पे प्रोविजन लग गया। प्रोवाइडेड दैट इफ द लोकेशन ऑफ द इमूवेबल प्रॉपर्टी और बोट और वेसल इज लोकेटेड और इंटेंडेड लोकेटेड आउटसाइड इंडिया, द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई शैल बी, देखो यहां पे क्या लिख रहा है, आउटसाइड इंडिया, लोकेटेड आउटसाइड इंडिया, तो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई शैल बी लोकेशन ऑफ द रेसिपिएंट। तो यहां पे इसलिए दिल्ली आंसर आया स्टूडेंट्स। I hope this is clear to you all. Should we move to next MCQ, students?
Sir, we have received 2-3 queries.
Yes,
Shall
yes.
we take it?
Yes.
Sir. Sir, one student is asking, what will be the structure of 15 marks descriptive questions?
15 marks descriptive questions, students. Please remember, 5, 5, 5 3 क्वेश्चन हो सकते हैं, 7, 8 का स्ट्रक्चर भी होता है, 7 मार्क का 1 क्वेश्चन और 8 मार्क्स का दूसरा क्वेश्चन, या 6, 4, 5 भी हो सकता है।
There are 3 to 4
तो
subparts.
कोई भी कॉम्बिनेशन हो सकता है स्टूडेंट्स, इसमें मैं कोई डिफाइन नहीं कर सकता।
Yes.
तो 5 मार्क्स मिनिमम, तो देखो 4 मार्क्स क्वेश्चन होएगा, 4 मार्क्स से कम नहीं होना चाहिए, और मैक्सिमम 8 मार्क्स का क्वेश्चन हो सकता है। तो इसमें कोई ऐसी लिमिट नहीं लगाई है हमने, तो 3-4 क्वेश्चंस हो सकते हैं
Yes.
इसमें।
3-4 subparts descriptive questions can be there.
Hmm.
Sir, one student, Miss Mansha, is asking, can we refer November 23 recorded lectures for law subject? Dear student, till the time the self-paced online modules has been not launched, the online lectures has not been uploaded. You can refer the November 23 recorded lectures for for self-paced A, set A. Whenever the online modules are launched on the website, you can refer the latest one also. Sir, Miss Seema Suresh Sharma, sir, I have cleared group 1 10 years back. How do I approach group 1 subjects now?
देखो ऐसा है कि मैंने जैसा कि बताया सीमा आपको, अभी सबको बताया मैंने, तो आपको बिकॉज आपने 10 इयर्स पहले कर लिया, तो थोड़ा सा इंडियस आपको दोबारा से करना पड़ जाएगा, बिकॉज अकाउंटिंग स्टैंडर्ड बेस्ड था पहले। तो कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी के बिना, मैंने एक ही बात बोल रहा हूं मैं, आप अच्छी तरह से समझ लो स्टूडेंट सभी, कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी के बिना ये सब्जेक्ट हैंडल करना मुश्किल हो जाता है। और अगर आप कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी एक बार, बिकॉज देखो गुड पार्ट क्या है इसमें, बहुत अच्छी बात कि इसमें ओपन बुक एग्जामिनेशन हो रहा है, और आपको करना क्या, कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी करनी है। उसके बाद यहाँ पे आप देख रहे हो, आपने अभी देखा जो हम केस स्टडी हैंडल कर रहे हैं, इसमें एक एक स्टेप पे कैसे कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी की बातें हो रही हैं। अगर कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी नहीं है तो आप एक भी क्वेश्चन आंसर नहीं कर पा रहे। आप देखो, आप जैसे हम कर पा रहे हैं 12 में, फिर वो 3 में गया, IGST एक्ट सेक्शन 12, फिर सब सेक्शन 3, फिर क्लॉज ए, वहां पे भी आंसर नहीं निकला, फिर प्रोविजो में जाके आंसर निकल रहा है। तो आप देख रहे हो स्टूडेंट्स कैसे क्वेश्चन पूछे जा रहे हैं, कितनी बारीकी से क्वेश्चन पूछे जा रहे हैं। तो उस डेप्थ तक आपको जाके, फाइनल लेवल है क्योंकि आपको स्टडी करनी चाहिए। और जैसा कि शिल्पा मैडम ने बताया, कुछ इंडिया जैसे आप सारांश में से कर सकते हैं, लेकिन एक बार कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी तो आपको करनी चाहिए। दिस इज व्हाट आई सपोज।
सर अकॉर्डिंग टू मी ऑल्सो, सर
हाँ।
4 सब्जेक्ट्स, देयर आर 4 और 3 सब्जेक्ट, सर वो तो आपको कॉन्सेप्ट क्लैरिटी तो आपको चारों सब्जेक्ट्स की चाहिए, बिकॉज नाउ आफ्टर पासिंग ग्रुप 2 यू विल गो फॉर योर इंटरव्यू और यू विल स्टार्ट योर प्रैक्टिस। तो ये चारों सब्जेक्ट्स आपको फिर भी पढ़ने पड़ेंगे। आफ्टर 10 years आपको अपने आप को अपडेट रखना है, यू हैव टू कीप योर सेल्फ अपडेटेड। सो आप ये मत सोचो कि यू हैव टू रेफर ऑल दीज provisions, all these subjects for IBS. No, बच्चे, you have to read all these subjects for yourself. You have to update yourself. After passing group 2, you have to go for some interview or you will start some your practice. तो वैसे भी आपको ये सब चीजें पढ़नी ही है. So for IBS ये आप एक बार ही पढ़ लीजिए, but for your own knowledge, for your updation, it is required.
Yes. So should we move ahead?
Yes.
What is the place
MCQ
of
3.
supply? MCQ 3 is what is the place of supply with respect to tickets bought by Mr. Ramesh for amusement? ये GST place of supply स्टूडेंट्स अगर आपने पढ़ा है तो ये स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड क्वेश्चन है। तो इसमें मैं आपको बता देता हूं, इसके अंदर हमारा कौन सा पैरा इन्वॉल्व है। केस स्टडी में देखोगे अगर आप, on 31st May 23, Mr. Ramesh took his family to an amusement park located in गुरुग्राम, हरियाणा। अब अम्यूजमेंट पार्क कहां पे लोकेटेड है स्टूडेंट्स? गुरुग्राम, लुधियाना, oh sorry, Haryana. This particular amusement park has various attractions such as rides, this for entertainment. For such visit, son of Mr. Ramesh has also come from Jaipur and Mr. Ramesh has got 3 tickets for amusement park. कहां पे है? अब देखो ये स्ट्रेट क्वेश्चन है। अगर आपने जीएसटी, अगर आपने कंसेप्चुअल अंडरस्टैंडिंग कर ली है, आपने अच्छे से पढ़ लिया प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई, तो स्ट्रेट फॉरवर्ड वो क्वेश्चन। अब देखो ये आपने पैरा पढ़ा, अब क्वेश्चन पे आ जाते हैं कि प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई विद रिस्पेक्ट टू टिकट्स बॉट बाय मिस्टर रमेश फॉर द अम्यूजमेंट पार्क। अब इसमें सेक्शन 12 ही एप्लीकेबल है स्टूडेंट्स, और उसका सब सेक्शन 6 इन्वॉल्व है, जो क्या कहता है, प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ द फॉलोइंग सर्विसेज बाय वे ऑफ एडमिशन टू वेरियस सर्विसेज प्रोवाइडेड बाय एडमिशन टू अम्यूजमेंट पार्क। सीधा लिखा हुआ है, सर्विसेज provided by way of admission to amusement park or any other place is the place, a place of service क्या है, where the event is actually held। अब event क्या है, कहां पे हो रहा है ये, और where the park or such other place is located, where the park is located ना। अब आपको क्वेश्चन में ये देखना है कि ये अम्यूजमेंट पार्क लोकेटेड कहां पर है। तो अभी आपने क्वेश्चन के अंदर देखा कि अम्यूजमेंट पार्क कहां पे लोकेटेड है। अम्यूजमेंट पार्क गुरुग्राम, लुधियाना के हरियाणा के अंदर लोकेटेड है। तो अगर आप यहाँ पे देखो ऑप्शन में आपको क्या ढूंढना है, आपने देखना है गुरुग्राम ऑप्शन है या नहीं। बी ऑप्शन गुरुग्राम है, तो सीधे सीधे आपका पहली ऑप्शन दिल्ली है, फिर विद रिस्पेक्ट टू टिकट दिस एंड इधर दिल्ली और गुरुग्राम। तो यहाँ पे हमारा सीधा आंसर क्या आ रहा है, 3 का आंसर क्या है, बी है। तो सेक्शन 12 सब सेक्शन 6 के बेस पे यहाँ पे हमने आंसर निकाला गुरुग्राम। करना मेखा ठीक।
Yes.
तो आप देख रहे हैं कैसे,
Subsection 6.
अगर आपने सेक्शन पढ़ा है, अच्छी तरह से स्टडी किया, तभी आप आंसर दे पाओ। अब आपको पता होना चाहिए क्वेश्चन ऐसे किस कंटेक्स्ट में फ्रेम, कैसे और क्या, कौन सा पैरा आपका इन्वॉल्व है इसमें केस स्टडी का, और क्या उसमें प्लेस है। और अगर आपने प्रोविजन स्पेसिफिकली नहीं स्टडी की है डीप में जाके, तो आप फिर आप क्वेश्चन आंसर नहीं कर पाएंगे। मैं बार बार एक ही बात कह रहा हूं स्टूडेंट्स कि कंसेप्चुअल क्लैरिटी बहुत जरूरी है, तभी आप आंसर कर पाओगे। यस, कमिंग टू क्वेश्चन नंबर,
Reason.
हाँ रीजन मैं आपको समझा दिया स्टूडेंट्स प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ फॉलोइंग सर्विसेज, आंसर में अगर आप देखेंगे तो इसमें सेकंड पॉइंट अगर आप देखेंगे, सर्विसेज प्रोवाइडेड बाय वे ऑफ एडमिशन टू अम्यूजमेंट पार्क और एनी अदर प्लेस इज द प्लेस where the event is actually held or where the park or such other place is located. Or where the park is located. Admission to amusement park. So this is about question number 3. आई होप आपने अंडरस्टैंड कर लिया. आपकी स्टडी मटेरियल में मैं बताता हूं, पेज नंबर 3.34 पे ये बात लिखी हुई है. अगर आप 3.34 अच्छी तरह से, आप जो मैं पेज नंबर बता रहा हूं एक बार आप जाके उसको स्टडी जरूर करिएगा. यस, नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज अगेन रिलेटेड टू जीएसटी. GST, which of the following is correct statement with respect to GST liability in case of fees paid to Mr. बलदेव? अब बलदेव को आपने उसमें देखा है, जो हम कह रहे थे लॉ का क्वेश्चन है या कोई और भी हो सकता है. ये पेज नंबर, दिस इज फर्दर, मिस्टर बलदेव इज वन ऑफ द डायरेक्टर्स. बलदेव कौन है? वन ऑफ द डायरेक्टर्स ऑफ द कंपनी. और ड्यूरिंग द फाइनेंशियल ईयर आप देख रहे हो कि उसको सिटिंग फीस पे हुई है स्टूडेंट्स. अब यहां पे डायरेक्टर रेम्युनरेशन की अगर मैं बात करूं, यहां पे स्टूडेंट्स अगर आप बात, अब क्वेश्चन देखते हैं क्या उसने फ्रेम किया. विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज करेक्ट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू जीएसटी लायबिलिटी इन केस ऑफ फीस पेड, सिटिंग फीस जो उसे पे हुई है. अब सिटिंग फीस अगर आपने डायरेक्टर रेम्युनरेशन, आप पेज नंबर स्टूडेंट्स इसमें जाएंगे 2.27 ऑफ द स्टडी मटेरियल, पेज नंबर 2.27 ऑफ द स्टडी मटेरियल. उस पे मैं थोड़ा सा पोर्शन रीड कर रहा हूं स्टूडेंट्स. पेज नंबर 2, अगर आपके पास जीएसटी का स्टडी मटेरियल है तो आप उसको नोट डाउन कर लें, और अगर अभी आप देख पा रहे हैं तो आप उसको ओपन कर सकते हैं. उसमें है टैक्सेबिलिटी, टॉपिक है टैक्सेबिलिटी ऑफ रेम्युनरेशन पेड टू डायरेक्टर्स. उसमें इसके 2 पॉइंट्स बनाए हुए हैं स्टूडेंट्स. एक तो सर्विसेज प्रोवाइडेड बाय द इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर्स, और एक एज एन एम्प्लॉय. अगर डायरेक्टर स्टूडेंट्स एज एन एम्प्लॉय सर्विसेज दे रहा है तो आपको मालूम है वो उसकी एग्जम्पशन है, उसकी, सॉरी, इट इज कवर्ड अंडर शेड्यूल 3, नेगेटिव लिस्ट के अंदर कवर्ड है. लेकिन आप उसमें सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट ये होता है स्टूडेंट्स कि क्या डायरेक्टर को जो हम रेम्युनरेशन पे कर रहे हैं, कंपनी जो डायरेक्टर को रेम्युनरेशन पे कर रही है, क्या 192 सेक्शन ऑफ द इनकम टैक्स एक्ट, क्या उसमें टीडीएस डिडक्ट हो रहा है उसका? तो दिस इज द वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टेस्ट. डायरेक्टर रेम्युनरेशन जो उसकी सैलरी में से अगर टीडीएस उसमें डिडक्ट हो रहा है तो इट इज नॉट ए सप्लाई एज पर शेड्यूल 3 नेगेटिव लिस्ट. तो ये नेगेटिव लिस्ट में है शेड्यूल 3 की डायरेक्टर रेम्युनरेशन, मतलब सैलरी टू एम्प्लॉय. अगर वो एम्प्लॉय का टेस्ट फुलफिल कर रहा है, तो अगर डायरेक्टर एम्प्लॉय होने का टेस्ट फुलफिल कर रहा है तो फिर ये नेगेटिव लिस्ट में कवर हो जाएगा. और बाकी जितनी भी सर्विसेज, इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर है तो इंडिपेंडेंट डायरेक्टर एम्प्लॉय नहीं होता. ये स्टडी मटेरियल में बात क्लियरली लिखी हुई है अगर आप देखोगे तो सिटिंग फीस उसे पे हो रही है स्टूडेंट, दिस इज अदर देन सैलरी. तो सिटिंग फीस डायरेक्टर को अगर पे हो रही है तो उस पे आप रिवर्स चार्ज के अंदर, आपको मालूम है कि उसमें रिवर्स चार्ज के अंदर कंपनी को रिवर्स चार्ज सबको मालूम है क्या होता है. तो जीएसटी क्या ऑप्शन है हमारे पास, आप देख सकते हो. जीएसटी शेल बी पेबल बाय ल्यूमिनस लिमिटेड अंडर रिवर्स चार्ज मैकेनिज्म. तो फॉरवर्ड चार्ज में नहीं होता स्टूडेंट्स, ये रिवर्स चार्ज यहां पे लग जाता है. और उसका पेज नंबर आप देखोगे तो आपको मिल जाएगा उसके रिवर्स चार्ज के टॉपिक के अंदर भी, वहां पे आपको मिलेगा. जीएसटी शेल बी पेबल बाय ल्यूमिनस लिमिटेड अंडर रिवर्स चार्ज मैकेनिज्म. बी ऑप्शन क्या है स्टूडेंट्स? बी ऑप्शन इज जीएसटी शेल बी पेबल बाय मिस्टर बलदेव. ये तो फॉरवर्ड चार्ज में होता ही नहीं है. स्टेटिंग फेज पे टू डायरेक्टर इज नॉट लायबल टू जीएसटी. तो स्टेटिंग फेज के ऊपर जीएसटी की लायबिलिटी बनती है बिकॉज ही इज नॉट एन एम्प्लॉय. in this case. Sitting remuneration he is getting is not as an employee. Sitting fees paid to the director of a company is treated as salary paid to the and is subject. Sitting fees कभी भी salary नहीं होती and is तो ये D option वैसे ही गलत है. Let me
Mr. Ashish Rajwani has written option A.
option A. Option A is correct. Very good आशीष. तो जीएसटी आप देख रहे हो कैसे क्वेश्चन वहां पे फ्रेम करके आपको मतलब पूरे जब तक आपको स्टडी मटेरियल आपने अच्छे से नहीं स्टडी किया हुआ तब तक आप आंसर नहीं कर पाओगे. तो जीएसटी शेल बी पेबल बाय ल्यूमिनस लिमिटेड अंडर रिवर्स चार्ज मैकेनिज्म. As per reverse charge notification, tax on services supplied by director of a company, body corporate to the said company located in the tax table is payable under reverse charge. Hence, in the present case, the sitting fees amounting to 35,000 payable to Mr. Baldev is liable to GST under reverse charge, and the recipient is liable to pay GST on the same. So, आप देख रहे हो कितनी बारीकी से कितनी माइन्यूटली क्वेश्चंस फ्रेम किए गए हैं स्टूडेंट्स. तो इसलिए मैं आपको बार बार एक ही बात समझा रहा हूं कि कंसेप्चुअल नॉलेज आप अपने स्ट्रॉन्ग रखिएगा. मोरओवर स्टूडेंट्स अभी जैसे क्वेरीज का आंसर हम लोग दे रहे हैं आपको. इफ इवन आफ्टर द सेशन इज ओवर, इफ यू हैव एनी क्वेरी रिलेटेड टू दिस पेपर, तो यू कैन contact me over my mobile. Even I will share my mobile number also. तो आप मेरे मोबाइल नंबर पे भी, मेघा मैडम आप मेरा मोबाइल नंबर कहीं पे भी लिख दो, यहीं पे लिख दो बेशक. तो आप स्टूडेंट्स मेरे मोबाइल पे भी मुझे 94667, स्टूडेंट्स मेरा मोबाइल नंबर आप नोट कर लीजिए 94667 89298 89298 94667 89298. स्टूडेंट्स ये मेरा मोबाइल नंबर है. स्टूडेंट्स आप IBS पेपर 6 की कोई भी क्वेरी इवन आफ्टर द सेशन इज ओवर, आपको माइंड में कई क्वेश्चंस आएंगे स्टूडेंट्स, तैयारी कैसे करें, ये वो जो भी व्हाट्सएवर क्वेश्चंस आर देयर, कोई पर्टिकुलर फैकल्टी से रिलेटेड भी क्वेश्चन तो मैं बात करवा दूंगा. अगर आपका कोई इनकम टैक्स या कोई किसी भी फैकल्टी का क्वेश्चन भी होगा, IBS से रिलेटेड होगा तो भी मैं आंसर कर दूंगा स्टूडेंट्स. लेकिन आप मेरा मोबाइल नंबर नोट कर लो और आफ्टर द सेशन इज ओवर तो भी आप मुझे कॉल कर सकते हैं. अगर मैं फोन नहीं उठाता कभी मीटिंग में या इधर उधर, तो मैं कॉल बैक अपने स्टूडेंट्स को जरूर करता हूं. प्लीज मेक इट ए पॉइंट आप मोबाइल नंबर, क्योंकि बिकॉज अगर अदर मीन से आपको आंसर नहीं मिल रहा तो आप डायरेक्टली मुझे कॉल करके सिंपली आपकी क्वेरी आंसर हो जाएगी. तो स्टूडेंट्स अभी हम डिस्क्रिप्टिव क्वेश्चंस पे चल रहे हैं. क्वेश्चन नंबर 5, whether the retiring directors shall be deemed to have been reappointed at the adjourned meeting. And और इसके 5 के देखो 3 पार्ट्स. अभी किसी स्टूडेंट ने पूछा था क्वेश्चंस कैसे आएंगे, तो क्वेश्चंस आपके सामने है, देखो. यस मेघा मैडम.
Yes, sir. Sir, the question, this question is based on retiring directors, reappointment, rotational directors. So we have to go to the case study. We will read the facts again. So here is the related paragraph. The company has 10 directors on its board. Board of directors, आपको पता है composition. You all must know that what is the composition. 3 of the directors have retired by rotation at the annual general meeting conducted recently. The place of retiring directors is not so filled up, and the meeting has also not expressly resolved not to fill the vacancy. Since the AGM could not complete the said business, it was adjourned to the same day in the next week at the same time and place. At this adjourned meeting also, the place of retiring directors could not be filled up, and the meeting has also not expressly resolved not to fill the vacancy. So if we look at the question, this question is based on section 152, subsection 6 and subsection 7. Rotational directors. What is the rotational directors concept? The reason behind incorporation of this rotational of directors, it means that every annual general meeting, some directors are liable to retire by rotation. Why this provision has been incorporated? Because the board of directors cannot control their composition on their own. So this power has been given to the annual general meeting. I also previously MCQ also I have told you the general meeting किसके लिए होती है? For shareholders. So at the every general meeting, at the every annual general meeting, 2/3 of the total number of directors shall be liable to retire by rotation. Okay. For example, if we take that 7 directors are there. Okay. Total, we can take that 9 directors are there in a company. Okay. So अगर हम पढ़ेंगे what is the total number of directors, हमें total number के लिए हमें certain directors which are non-rotational, like your independent director, like your nominee director, we have to remove that directors out of this composition. We are taking an example that there are 9 directors in a company. Out of that 9 directors, 1 is independent and 1 is nominee. So total number of directors for this section will be 7. So what is retirement by rotation? We have to take not less than 2/3 of this figure, 7. So if we come out, this total number of directors has to retire by rotation. मतलब अगर 7 directors हैं, तो उसमें से 2/3 directors will be liable to retire by rotation. They can be replaced. Instead of these directors, someone new directors will be incorporated, will be placed in the annual general meeting. If we look at the calculation point of view, we can see that total calculation will be 4.7 of this. But what the section says, should not be not less than 2/3. So हमारा 4.7 से कम नहीं होना चाहिए. It should not be less than 4.7. So what we will do, we will increase this figure to 5. क्योंकि 4.7 को नंबर ऑफ डायरेक्टर्स को हम कैसे कैलकुलेट करेंगे? सो हमारे आउट ऑफ 7 in the annual general meeting, 5 directors will be liable to retire by rotation. अब हमारा फर्दर सेक्शन क्या कहता है कि हमने लायबल देख लिया, बट एक्चुअली रिटायर, हाउ मेनी डायरेक्टर्स विल बी रिटायर एट द एजीएम? दैट विल बी 1/3. ओके, अगर अब हम नाउ वी विल टेक 5 और 1/3 of 5, then it will comes to 1.67. So what the section specifies here? In that section, it is said that not less than 2/3, but here it says nearest to 1/3. Nearest to 1/3 means आपने अपने मैथ्स में you have read that nearest का concept. If it is 50.5 or more than that, then we will increase the number. If it is below 0.5, then we will reduce the number. Here the number is 1.67. It is more than 0.5. So what will you do? We will here increase the liable rotation of directors liable to 2. So out of 9, we have to see the calculation. 9 में से we have to reduce the non-rotational directors. Then from the rotational directors, we have to take out 2/3. Not less than 2/3 concept is applies here. Then out of 2/3, we will apply the 1/3, and that is nearest to 1/3. It can be less also. It can be on the higher side also. So if we look at the provisions of this section, here the company has 10 directors on its board. 3 of the directors have retired at the annual general meeting conducted recently. The place of retiring directors is not so filled up. ठीक है, 1/3 हमने निकाल लिया, पहले 2/3 करा, फिर 1/3 करा. The meeting has also not expressed resolve not to fill the vacancy. अब हमारा ये कॉन्सेप्ट क्यों आया है? ताकि शेयर होल्डर्स के पास, if the retiring directors are not favorable, the shareholders are not in favor of these retiring directors, so they can replace the retiring directors. So at the AGM, these retiring directors can be placed also, or if the shareholders are of the view that they want to replace them, so they can replace also. So meeting has also expressed resolve not to fill the vacancy since the AGM could not complete the said business. Now, what happened? The AGM provisions are covered section 96. If the AGM could not complete, the AGM has not concluded, it was adjourned to the same day in the next week. Adjourned का meaning shifted at the same time and place. At this adjourned meeting also, the place of retiring directors could not be filled up, because adjourned meeting is the same meeting as of the original meeting, but at the adjourned meeting also, if the place of retiring could not be filled up, the meeting has not expressly resolved. अब इस case में क्या होगा? So we will look at the provisions of section this. Yes. In accordance with the provisions of Companies Act 152(7)(a), which provides that if with the AGM at which a director retires and the vacancy is not filled up, the meeting will adjourn to the next week, same time, and if it's a public holiday, then next succeeding day, which is not a public holiday. It is stated in their provisions. Further, 152(7)(b क्या कहता है? Further provides that if at the adjourned meeting also the place of retiring director is not filled up and the meeting has also not expressed resolved, अगर AGM के अंदर और in the adjourned meeting के अंदर this vacancy has not filled up, then what will be the case? Then the retiring director shall be deemed to have been reappointed at the adjourned meeting. Okay, but what happens if some other director is appointed or some resolution has put forward for replacement? Then in that case, the retiring directors shall not be deemed to be director. But in case no resolution has passed for the other directors and the meeting is not, the said item has not been discussed, then the retiring director shall be deemed to have been reappointed. Okay. So if circumstances, we can see that in the first case, applying the above provisions where the retiring directors shall be deemed to have been appointed because at the AGM also the resolution was not completed. In the adjourned meeting also, this case has not been discussed. So in case the original meeting and at the adjourned meeting, these items has not been discussed, then the retiring directors shall be deemed to have been reappointed. Second question, क्या था हमारा? Second question was that what will be your answer in case at the adjourned meeting the resolution for reappointment of these directors were lost? means कि lost means कि in directors को जो who are our retiring directors, they will not be appointed. So what will be the answer? Then in the second case where the resolution for the reappointment of the retiring auditors were lost, the retiring directors shall not be deemed to have been reappointed. Deemed concept हमारा कब आएगा? When will the deemed concept? Deemed concept applies only where there is no resolution for the replacement of the retiring directors. But if there is the resolution for retiring directors is lost or some other person is requested, notice has come for their replacement, then the deemed provision will not apply. Now moving to last part of this question, whether such directors can continue in case the directors do not call the AGM. Yes, a director maybe does not want that he is retired. तो वो क्या करेंगे? Sometimes the AGM is not held. AGM वो करते ही नहीं है. AGM they do not conduct the AGM within the prescribed time limit. 96 में हमारा पता है कि close of the financial year के within 6 months they have to conduct a annual general meeting. An extension of on special request, the extension is also provided by ROC. But what will be the case? अब retiring directors का क्या होगा? In that case, 152 says that 1/3 of the rotational director shall retire at every AGM. Okay, and deemed concept हमने देख लिया कि 96 क्या कहते हैं? 96 हमारा कब ड्यू होती है? 96 आपका सेक्शन 96 कहता है कि AGM you have to conduct an AGM, and in case AGM is not held on the date, the term of retiring auditor ends on the last date. अब मुझे ये बताइए, आपका close of the financial year is 31st March. Okay, तो कब तक हमें AGM कंडक्ट करनी चाहिए? Within 6 months, that is 30th September of the same year. अगर 30th September तक company has not conducted an AGM, तो उस केस में क्या होगा? In that case, the directors ends on this last date and it cannot be extended till the new date when the AGM shall be held. calling of AGM is the duty and responsibility of directors. So it is the fault and for their choice, and as long so to call the AGM on its due date cannot take advantage of their own fault, and by that means cannot extend their own continuance. So in that case, the retiring auditors are not they cannot be reappointed. If the AGM is not held by 30th September, that does not mean the retiring auditors will continue. Okay, because it is the duty of the directors, it is the duty of the company to conduct the AGM, and if the AGM is not held, then the retiring auditors will vacate their office and some other directors will be appointed at their place. So this is the overall provision relating to section 152(7) and 152(6). This is covered under your chapter 1 of your set A self-paced module, appointment and qualification of directors. So I am telling you once again that starting chapters of these our study material are very crucial because they lays the foundation. You should know, आपको पता होना चाहिए what are the directors, who is KMP, what are the qualifications, disqualifications. So these 3 chapters will help you in coming chapters, in all other subjects also. In your coming projects, like you are doing as a consultant or you are doing practice, you are being as a chartered accountant in some company. So first 3 chapters lays the foundation for your overall career. So इन चैप्टर्स को अच्छी तरह पढ़िए, फिर आपके आगे के चैप्टर जैसे इंस्पेक्शन हो गया, ऑपरेशन मिसमैनेजमेंट, then winding up and your NCLT, then 3 SEBI Act is there. SEBI में there we have introduced 4 regulations, LODR and your insider trading, and 2 other regulations are there, and 3 acts are there, FEMA, FCR and IBC. So all these related chapters, these chapters we have covered in 2 modules. तो ये आपको बहुत अच्छी तरह पढ़ना है. We know that this has been shifted to from core to set A, but it is also compulsory subject and it is very necessary for all of you for the professional development.
और एक और जो मेघा मैडम एक और बात है इसमें
Yes.
कि पेपर 6 जो आपका कोर पेपर है, कंपल्सरी पेपर है,
Yes.
उसका तो सिलेबस है ही है.
Yes.
उसमें तो इससे रिलेटेड क्वेश्चन पूछा ही जा सकता है, सेट ए भी सेट बी भी. तो इसलिए स्टूडेंट्स आप एक बार थॉरो अंडरस्टैंडिंग जो सेट ए और सेट बी के पेपर्स हैं, इनकी थॉरो अंडरस्टैंडिंग करके तभी आप पेपर 6 को हैंडल कर पाओगे. क्योंकि बिकॉज कंसेप्ट इसमें टोटल एप्लीकेशन बेस्ड सारा काम है. आप देख रहे हो कितनी बारीकी से, कितनी डीपली क्वेश्चंस पूछे जा रहे हैं. तो आप तभी आंसर कर पाओगे जब आप थॉरो हो एक सब्जेक्ट से.
Yes.
तो ये मैं बार बार एक बार स्ट्रेस दे रहा हूँ. और अभी लास्ट क्वेश्चन इसका हमारा बैलेंस है, और बिकॉज लास्ट वन क्वेश्चन हैज ऑलरेडी बीन answered. Question number 7 is already gone, and question number 6 is pending. Whether the management's understanding related to transfer of solar panel to companies retail showrooms. अब देखो companies retail showrooms correct in view of GST law. ये सिंपल क्वेश्चन है स्टूडेंट्स. इसमें 2 पार्ट्स हैं 6 में, और दूसरे पार्ट में डिफरेंट क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है. वो प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इन केस ऑफ सर्विसेज प्रोक्योर्ड फ्रॉम अटॉर्नी, ये आउटसाइड इंडिया था, अटॉर्नी दुबई में. एंड सजेस्ट इफ द कंपनी इज रिक्वायर्ड टू पे अंडर रिवर्स चार्ज. तो ये रिवर्स चार्ज में ही होता है अटॉर्नी का, आपको पता है अगर बाहर से सर्विस ली गई है. तो दोनों पार्ट्स के लिए मैं पहले आपको केस स्टडी बताता हूँ कि कहाँ पे. पहले फर्स्ट पार्ट, द लास्ट पैरा ऑफ द केस स्टडी, इस पे उसने फर्स्ट पार्ट पूछा. द कंपनी हैज इट्स रिटेल शोरूम्स इन पटियाला एंड दिल्ली एंड फैक्ट्री एट लुधियाना. तो फैक्ट्री लुधियाना में है, शोरूम्स पटियाला और दिल्ली में है स्टूडेंट्स. ड्यूरिंग फाइनेंशियल ईयर द कंपनी हैज मैन्युफैक्चर्ड 1,50,000 this, और फैक्ट्री, इट्स फैक्ट्री, नेचुरली मैन्युफैक्चरिंग इज गोइंग टू बी एट फैक्ट्री ओनली. मैनेजमेंट डिसाइडेड टू ट्रांसफर हाफ ऑफ द यूनिट. सब मैनेजमेंट ट्रांसफर कर रही है फ्रॉम फैक्ट्री टू पटियाला शोरूम, एंड सेकेंड हाफ टू इट्स, फ्रॉम फैक्ट्री टू इट्स दिल्ली शोरूम फॉर सेल देयर फ्रॉम. वहां पर जाके फिर ये सेल करेंगी. द फैक्ट्री एंड द फोरसेड रिटेल शोरूम आर रजिस्टर्ड अंडर जीएसटी. सभी तीनों चीजें रजिस्टर्ड अंडर जीएसटी है इन स्टेट्स वेयर दे आर लोकेटेड. Company has obtained separate registrations under GST for Ludhiana factory and Patiala showroom. Separate registrations है. So इसमें students, the management of the company understands that such transfer shall not be considered as supply because there is no consideration. Because such transfers are without any consideration. Students, GST section 7 subsection 1 clause A जो कि सप्लाई को डिफाइन करता है, ऑल सप्लाई इंक्लूड्स ऑल फॉर्म्स ऑफ सप्लाई ऑफ गुड्स और सर्विसेज और बोथ सच एज सेल, ट्रांसफर, बार्टर, exchange, license, rental, lease, disposal, made or agreed to be made for a consideration by a person in the course or furtherance of business. तो दो बड़े इंपॉर्टेंट पिलर हैं स्टूडेंट्स इस डेफिनेशन के अंदर. एक तो कंसिडरेशन, वन इज कंसिडरेशन एंड सेकंड इज इन द कोर्स और फर्दरेंस ऑफ बिजनेस. सो कंसिडरेशन की जो एक्सेप्शन है स्टूडेंट्स सेक्शन 7(1) क्लॉज सी के अंदर डाली गई है. Activities specified in Schedule 1 activities without consideration. Schedule 1 activities made or agreed to be without consideration, it will constitute as supply. It will be considered as supply. So Schedule 1 के अंदर कितने पैराग्राफ स्टूडेंट्स? 4 पैराग्राफ हैं. There are 4 paragraphs in Schedule 1. तो इसका फर्स्ट पार्ट मैं आंसर कर रहा हूं आपको. देखो तो इसमें सेकंड पैरा जो है Schedule 1 का, उस पे ये क्वेश्चन बेस्ड है. आंसर मैं आपको दिखाता हूं. स्टॉक ट्रांसफर और ब्रांच ट्रांसफर. तो Schedule 1 सेकंड पैरा, इट इज ए कॉमन प्रैक्टिस इन बिजनेस दैट वन ब्रांच सप्लाईज. तो आप देख रहे हो कि यहाँ पे इवन इफ देयर इज नो कंसिडरेशन स्टिल इट विल बी कंसिडर्ड एज सप्लाई because this is exception to the that pillar I said कि कंसिडरेशन की यहाँ पे एक्सेप्शन है कि ब्रांच ट्रांसफर्स के अंदर, स्टॉक ट्रांसफर्स के अंदर. तो यहाँ पे क्या है स्टूडेंट्स, व्हाट हैपेंस इज देयर आर सेपरेट रजिस्ट्रेशंस बट पैन नंबर इज 1. तो इसे हम यहाँ पे डिस्टिंक्ट पर्संस, दीज आर कॉल्ड डिस्टिंक्ट पर्संस. सो डिस्टिंक्ट पर्संस यहाँ पे लुधियाना फैक्ट्री, पटियाला शोरूम एंड दिल्ली शोरूम, whatever transfer is being made, this will be considered as supply because it is covered in the exception. Exception is, and this is section 7(1)(c) of the GST Act. It is a common practice in business that one branch supplies services to another branch of the same entity without consideration. Similarly, goods are transferred among different units of same entity free of cost. For instance, distribution of samples manufactured in a factory to different branches or transfer of goods from factory to depot, showroom for sale therefrom. So ये common practice होती है students company में. These transactions are termed as self supplies. So under GST, these transactions undertaken even without consideration. Even without consideration. Even without consideration will also qualify as supply, provided the transfer of goods or services is between different locations of the same legal entity, as these are transactions between distinct persons or establishment of distinct persons. तो इसमें मैंने आपको बताया कि सेपरेट रजिस्ट्रेशन और अंडर सिंगल पैन परमानेंट अकाउंट नंबर. सेकेंड पार्ट स्टूडेंट्स जो डील करता है, तो देयरफॉर इट इज सप्लाई. बेसिकली कंक्लूजन में ये लिखा हुआ है कि इट विल कॉन्स्टिट्यूट एज सप्लाई. सर्विस ऑफ अटॉर्नी टेकन बाय ल्यूमिनस लिमिटेड. इन द गिवन केस सर्विस प्रोवाइडर इज आउटसाइड इंडिया. अब देखो सेक्शन 12 कब लगता था? सेक्शन 12 ऑफ द IGST एक्ट. It becomes applicable when the recipient of the service and service provider both are in India. And when one of them is outside India, यहाँ पे service provider is outside India, then section 13 becomes applicable. So thus the place of supply, since in the given case service provider is outside India and service recipient is based in India, so when one of the persons, a service provider or service recipient, anyone is if outside India, then instead of section 12, section 13 becomes applicable. So since the given service does not get covered under any of the specific provisions of the section 13, the place of supply will be governed by general rule. That is, place of supply of service will be location of the recipient of the. This is the general rule, which is in this case is Delhi. Further, the given case is import of service in terms of section 211 of the clause 11 of section 2 of the IGST Act. As the supplier of services is located outside India, recipient of service is located in India, and the place of supply is in India. Since the services are imported for a consideration from an unrelated person, the same tantamount to supply in terms of section 7(1)(b) kya students? Import of service for a consideration whether or not in the course or furtherance of business. देखो कितने सारे सेक्शंस एक क्वेश्चन के अंदर इन्वॉल्व है, आप देख रहे हो कितनी बारीकी से क्वेश्चन पूछा गया. तो सेक्शन 7(1)(b) क्या स्टूडेंट्स? इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विसेज, सर्विस की बात हो रही है, इंपोर्ट ऑफ सर्विस फॉर ए कंसिडरेशन वेदर और उसमें दैट इज एक्सेप्शन टू सेक्शन 7(1) क्लॉज ए, वेदर और नॉट इन द कोर्स और फर्दरेंस ऑफ बिजनेस. तो इसमें हमने ये 7(1)(b) और 7(1)(c) क्या स्टूडेंट? 7(1)(c) इज schedule 1 activities without, even if without consideration, still it is considered as supply. तो as per, और इसमें क्या होएगा? रिवर्स चार्ज लगेगा as per notification this integrated. If a service is supplied by a person located in a non-taxable territory to a person located in taxable territory other than non-taxable online recipient, the tax is payable on reverse charge basis. So आप देखो स्टूडेंट्स की कितने उसने माइन्यूटली क्वेश्चन पूछा, और क्वेश्चन मैं आपको दिखाता हूं कि डिटरमिन द प्लेस ऑफ सप्लाई इन केस ऑफ सर्विसेज प्रोक्योर्ड फ्रॉम अटॉर्नी बाय लिमिनस इफ द कंपनी इज रिक्वायर्ड टू पे टैक्स अंडर रिवर्स चार्ज ऑन सच ट्रांजैक्शन. तो आप देखो पूरी केस स्टडी हमने फिनिश की है, कंप्लीट की है विद ऑल द कंसेप्ट्स एंड प्रोविजंस. ये आपका अटॉर्नी वाला पॉइंट यहां पर था. ये Luminous Limited is based in Delhi. तो service recipient is in Delhi or attorney is in Dubai. So one of the parties is recipient or service provider. If one of them is in outside India, तो section 13 becomes applicable. So this is the idea behind. ये आपको मैं पेज नंबर बता देता हूँ स्टडी मटेरियल का, आप एक बार डिटेल में पढ़ लेना इसको. तो नेक्स्ट लेक्चर में अगर कोई इसमें डाउट होगा तो मैं ले लूंगा. पेज नंबर 3.58, आप मॉड्यूल 1 पेज नंबर 3.58 पे आपको इससे रिलेटेड पूरा मैटर मिलेगा. ये स्टूडेंट्स कोई जनरल क्वेरीज अगर आपकी हैं या स्पेसिफिक क्वेरीज हैं तो.
Mr. Prashad is saying कि from where we can get this case study. Sir, we can upload this case study now. After this, we will upload this case study on the portal. You can refer this case study. Now, one student is saying, can I know from when self-paced online exam would be held? Also, more details on it.
Shilpa madam has already come.
Sir, self-paced online examinations, I think announcement will be
Shilpa
done.
madam has already joined and she will answer this question. Self-paced.
So self for students, please, for self-paced conducting the examinations of self-paced, examination department will be doing that, and that examination department will issue a separate notification for that. So regular be in touch with the institute website, and as and when they plan for that, they'll issue a notification for that. Okay. Whether we need to refer old syllabus paper number 6F? No, you're not required to refer old paper because it was the case studies which were for 6F was based on old syllabus also. Now in many core subjects, syllabus has undergone change, like for auditing, for your advanced financial management, syllabus has undergone some change. So if you are referring old material, you'll get confused. And unnecessary, you'll be studying what is not required, and you may be leaving something which is required. So it is advisable not to refer new old course paper 6F elective wala case studies. Whatever we can revise and make it, we are doing that. So over the period, we'll be adding more case studies. Right now, 15 are already web hosted. And beyond that, we'll be giving in the in the coming students journal, we'll be giving 3 more case studies. In the coming RTP relevant for May 2024, we'll be giving few case studies. So that will add to your question case study bank, and further we'll be also adding in the on the website also.
Same है.
What is this 44 case studies? No, please don't refer that.
Same है, ma'am, same.
Acha. Next, ma'am, shall place modules for. See, study material of self-paced.
Name of the student, madam, एक बार
Acha,
Shankara.
Mr. Shankara is asking that, ma'am, but self-paced modules for May 24 will be after writing final exams, right now. See, study materials of self-paced modules set A and set B, which is relevant for this paper, has already been web hosted. You can start your preparation for this paper from those content, but examination for separate examination for set A and set B will be conducted by examination department. In case you wish to do it after core paper examinations, you can do one-time relaxation for May 2024 has been provided. So you are allowed to, in fact, it is advisable to do it after May 2024, but before declaration of result or before applying for this. But right now you have to focus on this paper, and for this paper you have to study the content of set A and set B, study material of which has already been web hosted. Okay, please answer. One question was there, just I wanted to add, it was raised some back before.
Student का नाम बोल देना, madam.
हाँ. Okay, Mansa was asking, can we refer November 2003
Okay,
recorded
yes.
lectures that you have
I
completed?
have already
Achha,
taken
this one was also, how do I
Yes.
approach group 1 subjects now? Okay, then Megha, just please, students, will be just helping you to the BOS knowledge portal where Saransh has been placed. And we are trying to come out with a separate tab of for Saransh, but time being it is placed under subject-wise capsules.
Okay.
We are just showing you, we'll be also showing you MCQ practice portal for different subjects, so that when you are preparing for this paper, you have to be well versed with these core paper subjects. For practice of core papers, case scenarios have been well hosted for your practice in every subjects in under MCQ practice portal. That we also be showing to you through this on screen, so that you can understand where to go and what to study and what to practice. Just hold down, students. Let me just connect to you. Institute's website. First, we'll be showing you where Saransh has been placed on the BOS knowledge portal. BOS live, BOS knowledge portal. We want to go to BOS knowledge.
BOS live learning.
Your live dot I said
Through institute site also we can come here. If we go to institute site, we'll go to students. From students, we can come to BOS knowledge portal. With when BOS knowledge portal. Now, if you see subject-wise capsule, you are able to see the screen now, subject-wise capsule. There you are finding foundation, intermediate, final, and Saransh. When we click Saransh, we find there are 10 different Saransh for different subjects have been uploaded. For this paper, you have to refer Saransh of Indian Accounting Standard. Don't refer Saransh of Accounting Standard, because that is the syllabus of your intermediate. So no need to refer that. However, Saransh of Indian Accounting
Yes.
Standard is relevant for this paper. Besides that, recently we have
Yes,
come up with
direct
direct
tax
tax and
laws.
indirect tax laws Saransh that is applicable to you. Auditing
Auditing.
Saransh, this is also applicable to you, and we are coming with a revised version of auditing Saransh. Cost, this is
Strategic cost.
strategic cost management performance evaluation Saransh, that is also relevant to you. Company law Saransh is relevant to you. So these are things which are relevant for you, and you can refer this for your preparation for this particular paper. Besides that, we would also like to log in करके एक बार log in करना तो practice now पे करके. We are logging to the, see, if you find on BOS knowledge portal, there's a login run where you have to log in with your registration number, your date of birth. You'll find this particular window will be open. And in this window, you will find MCQ practice portal. This window is where MCQs are uploaded for every subject. Just open that.
It's not open. In some proxy.
Acha, maybe right now we are not able, but if when you click, you'll find that for different subjects, you'll get the detail that these are the papers for which MCQs have been uploaded. When you'll go to particular paper, you'll find there are two types of MCQs uploaded. One are independent MCQs and one are case scenario based MCQs. Both are for your practice. MCQ independent MCQs at this final level may not be asked, but case scenario based independent MCQs may be asked. Case scenario based independent MCQs means a scenario with one MCQ, or there can be a scenario which may lead to number of MCQs, say 3 to 5 or 3 to 6 MCQs that may be asked in your examination. So for that practice, you'll find start
it's
the
open.
practice, just start the practice and see there are two types of practice. One is go back. Say there are two types of MCQs, MCQ assessment and case scenario assessment. So case scenario assessments may be of more help to you for this paper, but MCQ assessment which is there, this is conceptual MCQs which are placed. This is for evaluating your understanding of particular subject and particular topic. So it is always advisable first to go with MCQ assessment and then to go with case scenario based assessments. So this both will help you in preparing for individual papers of final paper as well as for this particular paper, integrated business solution. So this also has to be done. With respect to your individual subjects, there are in your BOS mobile app, ask your query tab is there where you can raise your queries with respect to that particular paper, along with there are subject specific mail IDs also where you can place your queries and you can ask, just clear your doubts. In case you have any other query, you may please ask. Okay, some queries we have received. Just let me see.
MCQ practice wala, will it be available as question bank for news labels as a printed or soft copy format as book subject wise?
See, this is a portal. This is online practice portal which we have given, and the benefit of this portal is that till the time you are not able to answer it accurately, it will again and again come back to you. So it will make you sure that you are now giving correct answer of this particular MCQ or particular case scenario. So it will always be in the form of online portal. It is not a booklet. It is an online portal with certain features for your benefit. So it will be in the form of portal only. We are not going to come with the printed version of this. Okay. And next question was, what is the difference between subject-wise tab in capsules and saransh? Okay, subject-wise tab and see, saransh is not only meant for students. It is meant for anybody, any person who wants to refer it. Maybe members also saransh they can refer. Members can also refer saransh. So capsules are customized for particular topic. They may not cover the entire syllabus of that particular subject, but saransh is covering the entire syllabus. This is the one difference. The difference reader may be anyone, but it is applicable to you all for your, we have made it in such a manner that students may find it helpful for easy learning, for easy retention, for understanding, for overall helicopter view you can get from saransh. So it is in that way different. Okay, today's class was very useful. Thank you for all faculty members. Most welcome students. If you are being benefited with this class, we are really helpful. We again will be in the coming session. We are also conducting 2 more sessions in this month, and later on in every month we'll be conducting few classes on for this paper. Right now, next session will be on 21st, and then after that on 28th. 28th. So on 21st and 28th, again we'll be coming for this IBS case studies. They will be discussing another case studies. Our saransh is completely amended for May 2024. In subjects, it is applicable for your May 24 examination. Like Indian Accounting Standard saransh is applicable for May 2024 examination.
Applicable.
Mostly every syllabus, every saransh which
Is
I
updated.
told you is applicable. See, like accounting standard saransh, it is meant for members and also for intermediate students. That is not meant for you for final paper. So you have to check out which saransh you have to refer for which paper. Okay. Okay, ma'am. Let me see any other query is there. Okay, I think we have we have answered all the queries. In case you have few more queries or later on you come out with some doubts, you can place your queries to the subject specific whatever tab is there, or in your BOS mobile app, ask your query version. Okay.
Sir has given his number also. So students can contact out that number also.
Okay.
All the best, dear students.
It is good. Thank you very much, students. Thank you very much.
By this, we are closing the session. All the very best.
All the best, students. wish you all the success which you can have, and I hope this after this session you won't find this paper to be a pain area, and you'll find it that it is now easy and a scoring paper, because you are having 40% MCQs for this paper. With respect to other papers where there is 30-70 ratio, this paper is having 40-60 ratio, and you are having now all the guidance materials which we have guided you, saransh and lectures on LVC. So please go through all these, and you'll find that this paper is far better than other in terms of scoring. Okay. Students, thank you.